Weird.
Okay, let's try this again.
Okay.
You're gonna have to explain that to me later.
I will.
Okay.
So, Conrad didn't get invited to TremorsFest, in essence.
Mm-hmm.
And I had let everybody know that this was happening, and kind of got this reply back that it was a little ageist in terms of just like blaming Conrad for, oh, we've sent him messages, but maybe he didn't get them and all that jazz or whatever. Although when Conrad talked to me, he was like, no, I did get an initial email that, hey, like somebody had said something to him, but they never followed up on it. Like he thought it had been canceled. So he was like super duper just sad and upset when I first called him and wasn't going to come. Like as he said, oh, my schedule's busy. Which when I did this other thing, I came to find out wasn't exactly true. So I was doing tile work, and I was like, how much does it cost for flights from Louisville to Santa Fe? Like that's,
yeah.
And boom, wasn't that much. I called Conrad back, and I was like, hey man, I'll buy your plane ticket. Like, let's do this. Like, let's fucking go. This is, yeah. Like, yeah. Let's fucking do this. And he was immediately like, okay. Well, shit. Okay, yeah, why not? Like, let's do it. To the point where then his wife Kate came along, and then it was this whole thing where we had to upgrade the tickets because I was going to do like a basic, and they were like, we're 90, 80 years old. We have to fly.
We have to, yeah, we need a little more.
So Kate ended up giving me her credit card, and we like bought higher tickets, but then I was going to pay them back for whatever, my original cost for the plane ticket was. So it wasn't really about the cost of the plane ticket or anything like that. It was just they needed to know that someone gave a shit about them.
That they were wanted.
And so, yeah, boom. Conrad there. Finn there, happy coming in. And we went off to TremorsFest, hoping things are good and fun and doing all that. We had a really horrible stop in Denver with my big sis. That was just bad. It was a good day, bad boyfriend at the end of it.
That's a really delicate way of putting that.
I wrote it because it's part of this, like the trip.
Understand.
So I gotta like write it here. I might talk about it later, but I feel like in the TremorsFest recap, it's just got to be a quick little.
That was
a whoa. Okay, what's going on here? And that happened, but then in a good one. So then the one thing that I wanted to do last year, since I wanted to do last year, is when we were driving back from Santa Fe, was we passed Great Sand Dunes National Park, and it was in the dark or whatever, and I was like, that sounds so cool. And we drove past it, and then like we got out of the mountains in the dark, and I was like, oh man, like I want to take my time and like go back through that, like because that was cool. So we made it a point when we left Denver. We're like, nope, we're gonna go down through the mountain and hit that place up. And initially, that was weird to find, like to actually try to find that.
It was really out in the middle of nowhere.
It was legitimately in a place that looked like perfection, like from Tremors, like surrounded by mountains, this great big plain. Holy shit, that was absolutely nuts. And they are just sand dunes, like legitimate, like giant piles of sand.
Yeah.
That are as big as mountains. Like we walked up to them and we were thinking, oh yeah, we'll go check them out. And then it's this vast plain that's stretching. And we're like, oh my God, maybe we'll touch like the bottom one or something.
And it's definitely a different elevation than what we're used to.
Oof, so that was a whole bunch of what is going on here.
I've been having a hard time breathing, I'm not gonna lie.
That in general, yeah, just hard time breathing.
I'm from Iowa. Things are flat. When you get me up in an elevation, woo boy, okay. But it was really cool. Honestly, that was a fun. No, it was beautiful.
It was a fun moment. And we decided because hot springs, we loved doing the hot springs last year, so we decided to stop at one in Hooper, Colorado. And man, that was awesome. That was. I can't believe you found that place. That was a sand dunes recreation area. And highly recommend. because it's just it was super cheap too. It was like 10 or 12 bucks or 14. It was $14 for both of us a piece to get in. But it had a 10-foot deep pool, all fed by hot springs.
So warm. It was the warmest
oh
water.
my God. And then there was another area called the greenhouse that was 21 plus that you could go into that had a whole bunch of like different jacuzzis, and it was in a greenhouse, like legitimate
with plants everywhere
and shit everywhere, and
like
then
hanging from the ceiling, and they had built them into the structure of like everything, and they were around the hot tubs.
They had little fancy food that you could go buy.
They had food and a bar, and you could literally just like eat by the pool and then go sit in the hot tub. It was fucking amazing.
It was like holy. That was just a great.
We're definitely gonna go there again.
Again,
for sure.
And for another reason too was that we were there and we were sitting in this one hot tub that was actually the hottest one. And
what was it, like 110?
110 degrees.
Ooh, I couldn't get all the way in it. I had to put my legs in.
That was a knees only hot tub. And while we're sitting there, lo and behold, not even lo and behold, this guy gets in, and I kind of like look at him from the side, and I was looking like fully like myself with my tits hanging out and everything. And I was like, is that Wade Gibson from Colts?
Drum corps?
Drum corps. I was like, no, don't.
There's no way. How the hell would he be in Cooper, Colorado?
Is Wade Gibson doing in the middle of fucking Colorado at this specific moment that we would be meeting each other in a hot tub spring? And I'm just kind of standing there, and all of a sudden I hear, "Hey, are you Levi from a coconut?" And it was just like, wait.
Look, okay, hold on. So, I don't know. None of y'all have ever traveled with Levi. Stuff like that happens all the fucking time. And the only reason I knew that guy knew Levi because he was the first one all day to say Makokata right.
Yeah.
Like, I knew it. So, I immediately whipped around and was like, what the fuck? What? I'm in the middle of Colorado, in the middle of nowhere. This one still gets noticed. Are you surprised? Because I'm not.
I was, like I said,
I'm not.
I wasn't going to say anything.
I know you weren't, and that's so unlike you.
And then it's funny. Well, because when it comes to that, I'm like introverted, but like, and then Wade, for the record, Wade is incredibly quiet and an introverted person. So for me to be the extrovert not saying anything, and Wade to be like, is that Levi? It was like, what the fart fuckers?
I'm still dead about that.
Holy shit. And it was fucking Wade Gibson, who played bass drum and then pit in Colt Cadets. Like, holy shit. That was
from Dubuque. Like, they did that Iowa. In Dubuque, Iowa.
Dubuque, Iowa. And
30 minutes from a coconut.
Yeah, and he was only there because it was their last day. He was part of a tree planting company. And him and his management team had like gone to these hot springs because they had been planting trees in the area,
like as a way to unwind, and because they were headed home.
Yeah, it was their last day. Yeah. They were done,
and they just stopped.
And that was, like I said, what? And that was where what ended up being kind of like the theme of the trip was like serendipity and magic. That's where I got this like hot springs bracelet, and I never took it off because it felt like an appropriate thing to just keep on until we were done. Because then I talked to Wade for like 2 hours to the point where Kaitlin was like, "We have to leave. Like, we're still driving somewhere.
Yeah,
like, we have to go." But him, it was just like I didn't expect to meet somebody that I actually knew in the middle of fucking Hooper, Colorado.
I get it.
There's nothing around. Like I said, it is very much like perfection in Tremors, where there's fucking nothing. Like, it is mountains on a plain. And as we learned, being in another hot tub at one of Finn's hotels, that it's the highest elevation plain in the world. And even that guy, Harvey, it was Harvey and Megan. Harvey and Megan. And Harvey said that, it's like one of those things where it feels like that's where the magic comes in. Oh, and speaking of which, there's Great Sand Dunes National Park and Preserve, 75 miles west. And definitely, there was definitely that sense of like, wow, okay, everything's converging. This is very, very fucking cool.
Magic of the Southwest.
Like, wow. So then that happened, and we drove through the night, got to the Motel 6, and I'm going to say this, Motel 6, surprisingly good.
I wasn't sure what to expect, and it did not disappoint. I'm not gonna lie, I was genuinely impressed, and I'd go there again.
Wow.
I really would.
Wow.
I'm not very picky about hotels. They're always like kind of weird, but no, this was great. It was the perfect spot. It was cheap. It was it was great.
And then irony of ironies was that we found out that the Motel 6 was literally right across the street from the Sage Hotel, which was the official TremorsFest hotel.
Mm-hmm. Like right across the street.
Like right corner. It was less than walking distance. It was spitting distance.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like pulled in, and that was awesome. And that was just, was that Wednesday? Because it was Monday. Yeah, we left Monday, slowed into Tuesday, then got there Wednesday. Yeah, that was okay.
And everything started up on Thursday.
Yeah, and then on Thursday, we had to go pick up Conrad and Kate and Finn and Helen from the airport. And it was originally going to be that Finn was going to pick up Conrad from the airport because they were both getting in at the same time, like 12:20, 12:30. But then Conrad's flight got delayed by like 3 hours. So, and then Finn wanted to pick him up, and she was so like sad at herself that she couldn't do that. But I had already gone out to the airport to meet both of them just in case of everything. So what ended up happening was then Finn and Helen had gotten their rental car, and it was funny just listening to them like drive around, try to find me in the parking lot. Because the parking lot at the Santa Fe airport gets weird really fast. Like it goes into a gravel quarry for extra parking.
Oh,
like it runs out of concrete parking, and then there's just fucking gravel quarry that you have to dip into. And
that sounds super sketchy.
Yeah, they reached a point where I actually like other people had kept parking, but everything was getting washed out, and I was like, oh my God, I can't turn around, and I had to like physically back up out of the lane. That was very Santa Fe, New Mexico in terms of whatever the fuck that was.
Sorry, there's mad road construction out here.
Yes, we tried to do this around the road construction.
Well, there's just so much of it that you can't.
But I picked up Finn and Helen from the airport and took them to Motel 6. I had bought them a Motel 6 for the night because that's what we were originally going to do with them. And then they got their comped rooms at the Sage after that for Saturday and Sunday. It was cool. And then had fun hanging out with them. And then we went to Dust Devils. Oh, wow. Dust Devils and Tumbleweeds.
So windy.
I'm really glad we got these cool lapel mics.
I am too, because I'm afraid the wind was going to be... If we didn't have the mics, the wind would absolutely be
ruining
that
this
mountain, though. Holy
wow!
shit.
Hold on, yeah, everybody, you're gonna look. Just go look.
Look at our view.
Isn't that dope?
America blows, but it is beautiful.
It is totally beautiful. Like wow.
But it is so windy, y'all. It has been so windy since we left Santa Fe today.
Yeah,
crazy.
Just super windy. Every time I got out, actually the first time I got out at the rest station, the door flopped open on me, just like whoosh. It was like
the door of the rental car.
I didn't mean to, babe. It just did it. It just went. I'm
That's
sorry.
Right. I've got coverage. We're good.
I'm sorry. And then tumbleweeds are just going across the road now.
Legit tumbleweeds, like from the cartoon. I keep running them over.
So then took Kellen and Kate to the Kellen and Finrad, and then I had to go back to the airport to get Kate and Conrad, and I just gotta say that's when the real adventure started.
For sure.
Those two were a hoot, and I should have had the camera on filming from the airport back to the hotel.
Like this, yeah.
Because they're just a fucking hoot.
They are. They're a riot.
And to the point where it's like, if Conrad hadn't come this weekend, it wouldn't have been nearly as fun. And I think for everybody, like not just you and I, but like the fans, for the Stampede people, for the actors and such, like that man is hilarious, and he needs to be at every event that you can possibly manage him to be at.
Well, he brings this fun joy to everything. Like he's the oldest surviving cast member, but he's like the youngest acting.
Yes. He acts like a little kid all the time. He's just always fucking around.
To the point where we had to say, so I don't know if this is jumping the gun or not, but Tremors 2 was shown. There was 2 different showings, and one of them was shown later. It wasn't going to show till like 9 or 9:15. And he asked Levi, "Well, do I need to show up for that?" And he had to get on a plane at 6 o'clock the next morning.
We had to get there. We had to be there by 5.
We had to be at their hotel by 5 to pick them up, to get them to the airport so they could go through TSA and all that. And he literally was like, "Should I come to this? I feel like I'm letting people down if I don't." And we're like, "No, you need to go home and go to bed." Oh my God. The dedication of that man. Like, he was all in. He wanted to be there all the time.
After he'd been there all day.
He had been there literally all day,
Like,
doing all the different things. And like,
since 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. He put in a full day, and he just wanted to keep going.
Like, amazing.
I hope I'm that spry at 91.
Oh, I know, right? And
Oh
like I
my
said,
goodness.
always quick on the jokes and the stories.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, we got Conrad to the Sage Hotel, and then actually it was funny. Got him there, and then, like, 15 minutes later, get a call that he doesn't have power in his room. Like, no power at all. So they had to literally transfer him to a different room that had power.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Never, you know what? And again, that's what I have to say. Motel 6, not a problem. The entire time. The whole fucking time.
Can't see my other thumb, but I have 2 thumbs.
Like, the whole time. Like, I just, wow. Okay, wow. And that was amazing. But then, so that's getting Conrad and Kate to the, and they actually invited me to dinner, like, at the Sage, like, first off. And I almost wasn't going to go, but then it was like, no, okay. I'm always trying to say yes. And it was like, okay, I'll say yes and sit down and have dinner with these two. And it was cute. And then from there, it was then back to the hotel. And I think Ben showed up around then too. Because then that was also when Lori showed up.
With the costume.
So what happened, what was a really interesting, awesome thing that happened was that because I had been in contact with Mike Malone and we had done a show together, he had been really, really good friends with Lori Hudson, who's the costume supervisor for Tremors 1, like the head of costuming, like for all of Tremors 1. And he was like, "Hey, you know, you should like hook up with Lori when you're going down there. She lives in Santa Fe." And I was like, "Well, fuck yeah." So actually around the same time I had been calling Conrad, I had called her. And she was telling me she had all of this stuff, like costumes and production notes and stuff, and didn't think anyone cared about them, and should she bring them, and like, would we be interested? And it was like, fuck yes, we would be interested. Get that shit, like, right the fuck now. And she comes over to the hotel on Thursday night, and she does. She brings 2 Rhonda outfits, one of Miguel's shirts, a Beneath Perfection jacket, and then a Beneath Perfection bag, like a wrap gift bag, filled with binders of photos and call sheets and receipts and Polaroids of like the day-to-day, like the costumes, like the continuity costumes, maps of the area, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Just fucking everything.
It was amazing.
And then, God, she had so many stories too. Even like just talking in the hotel, like, it was so like, wow! I just want to keep listening to you talk. Like you, again, is that it may be old and like 35 years. Everybody's memories of things are still pretty spot on and clicking.
Yep.
And that was, like I said, that was just fascinatingly cool being entrusted with all of that stuff to like show everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Lori brought that over, and then actually because Finn was in, Ben was there, because then we went over and we gave Finn a copy of Ben Schwartz's comic, which I have. I got somewhere. I put it somewhere.
I was going to say, you just had it.
I did just have it.
Is it in your notebook?
Oh, it is. Oh, it's in my folder book. Uno mas, people. I had everything set up. So our good friend Ben Sword made this Valid Earl love story comic. It's 18 plus, so put it together. I don't know. That's the as it reads, a niche and self-indulgent Tremors porn comic.
It's a spicy.
It's a spicy one. And we took that over to Finn, and she actually fell in love with it. Like, oh my God, it's like my new favorite thing now. This is so fucking cool. Like, what? And then Finn ended up giving us some like I gave her a Talking Tremor shirt, and then she gave Kaitlin and I. She had already gotten gifts for us, including these
like a bag with tissue paper in it, and then inside was a T-shirt.
Like this wicked Boston shirt.
Yeah, wicked smart.
Yeah,
is what
wicked.
It says.
Wicked. And now I got. I'm here. I don't have any olives, so I can't do it. Like, damn it, shit. I'll eat them later.
Eat a whatever these
I'll
things
eat an
are.
Airhead. There's Airheads here. All right.
Those are gonna replace the olives for today because I didn't think about that.
For today, and then this really.
I guess I have to eat one too, don't I?
No, I did the impression.
No, I did too.
Oh,
wicked smart.
Okay.
I'm just not as good at it as you are.
Okay. That's way more sour than that.
Yeah, that's why you don't. Yeah. Shit.
Ooh, that's gonna de-incentivize me from doing.
Yeah, a little more sour than I was expecting.
All right. Pause break. Thank you. Damn.
This podcast is brought to you by Coca-Cola and whatever the fuck these things are.
Airheads.
Sure. And Toyota. Mazda, whatever the fuck we're driving. At us, people! We need money! Okay.
But then also this box of treats.
Oh yeah, those cookie things with the jam in the middle. Those were
something
good.
leches, or I don't even want to say like Trace leches, but that was like
no, that was that thing I bought at the market. It was
because she said guava.
Yeah, they're like these little
fillings.
They're like these little cookie cakes, like crumbly cookie cakes, and these beautiful, delicious like preserves and jams in the middle of them. Oh my gosh, they're amazing. They come from Boston, I think she said.
Yeah, just absolutely adorable and delicious. And
I got a gift from Finn Carter. What the
right?
What the fuck?
Her presence was the gift, apparently, but I was wrong on that.
We made a lifelong friend.
It's true. That was cool. And so then after that, then Ben was really hungry. So all of us were pretty hungry. So we all wanted to go eat. And we decided, we'll walk down to where the theater is and go eat there. And then me being an idiot, I completely forgot that the theater had food, really good food. And I was like, oh, hey, why don't we just go into the theater that we're going to go to and go eat some food there? And damn, yeah,
that theater does good food.
Really,
for a movie
theater's food is just delicious.
It's one of the best chicken sandwiches I've ever eaten in my life. I don't know what they do. They put this sauce on it. Oh, I should have gotten one before I left because it is delicious.
Delicioso. And as we were eating, so then Ben will say this, and I just gotta say it for him. So then Finn Carter started feeding Ben beets.
Because I don't know if it wasn't it like a Ben had never tried beets or hadn't eaten a whole lot of them. So Finn was like, well, here, let's try some. And she literally put
had a fork and was feeding Ben beets.
There are pictures that prove all of this.
It was
amazing. I had some beets too. I don't normally eat them. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't care.
Although I still wonder if the beets aren't what made us all sick.
No.
I didn't have many beets. I think it was the water in the end. Actually talking to Lori's husband Matt later and about water, I think.
What water?
The water, just in general. If we were drinking water, it might have done it to us. Or the altitude.
Santa Fe water?
Yeah. You just gotta be careful about drinking new water when you're used to other water.
I'm not gonna lie, I think mine had a lot to do with the altitude.
That too.
I am here to say that your girl Kaitlin is not a fan of being above sea level. Or what is that right?
Yes,
am I saying that right? I can't do it. My lungs are fucked up. Shit, sorry, I'm touching my mic. My lungs are fucked up from COVID, and I was out of breath most of the weekend. I took a shower this morning, and I literally thought I was gonna pass out. So I was woo! This is a different kind of air up here.
Okay.
I'm from Iowa, and I am not used to this. So, if we ever do get a vacation home down here, I'd have to get used to it. Or bring an inhaler or something.
Well, I figure after you spend a couple days, you get used to it. Sorry, I just saw those deer over there, and it reminded me that when we were at the Sand Dunes National Park, there was a bunch of deer there to the point where, they were literally alongside the road.
Oh, yeah, they were. We stopped and took a video, and they didn't give a fuck that we were there. They were like, hey, what's up?
I was literally able to zoom in on the deer balls because they were so big.
They were.
And they
I
had,
didn't know deer had that big of balls. That was a learning experience.
but it was adorable.
But
just like, wow.
we're used to deer darting away or like running into your vehicle.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I've had that before.
These
Where
ones are just-
they just pop out of nowhere and then they like, I'm gonna jump onto your car that's moving 70 miles an hour. Let's see what happens. But no, these deer were like, we probably could have gone up and petted them if we wanted to.
I feel like we could have, like,
I
legitimately.
feel like they
so.
probably had like diseases and shit on them, and I don't think that would have been a good idea.
That seems dearest. Mommy dearest.
Okay, that's not a thing. You can't make it a dearest. Like that's not.
I made it a thing.
No. I'm putting a kibosh on that right now.
It's a thing now.
Nope. Okay, next.
So anyway, like I said, we ate dinner with Finn and Helen. And by the way, Helen is amazing. Finn
Oh my God! Shout out to Helen.
Helen is Finn's roommate, and like she brought her along, and she's from
like
Brazil.
Yeah.
And she's amazing.
She's
and
my new Brazilian auntie.
I love Helen.
Yes.
She literally keeps Finn in line. Like that's how it like works. It's
yeah.
awesome.
No, she does.
Did that. Went back to the hotel, and then that was Thursday. Done. Booyah. And Friday. So Conrad had asked me to take him to a friend of his art gallery, Mark Burnt. He'd actually been asking me since I've been talking to him about, hey, I got this guy that I had shot some commercials with or whatever. I would like, can I like go visit him while I'm there? And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'll take the time for you. Like, let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so about 11 o'clock, me, Kaitlin, and Ben went to go pick up Conrad and Kate to go take him to Mark's art gallery. And this is one of the coolest fucking little adventures ever, where we go to we hit this street called Canyon Road, and it becomes 2 straight miles of art galleries.
On either side of the street. A one-way street all the way down for 2 miles. Art galleries.
Art galleries.
And art installations and everything. Everywhere.
Non-stop art galleries.
Absolutely mind-blowing. I did not know that was even a thing.
Wow. That was...
You could spend like weeks on that one road.
Like,
going into every... I mean, there's no way. You could do like maybe 3 or 4 a day, but like, how could you like...
They hit every single one, like 2 miles worth of art galleries.
Yeah, it was nuts. It's on our list of stuff to go back and check when we come back.
And we get there or whatever, and I wasn't expecting how much those two like really knew each other. I thought it was just kind of like an off thing, but like Mark was waiting for Conrad, and then when they saw each other, it was like instant joy, like little kids, best friends meeting after summer camp.
Who knows how long it had been since they'd seen each other?
Well, whenever he was down here filming like that commercial, like they were filming it on a plateau, a mesa, and that was just like, oh my God, they just like both of those dudes just
instantly
absolutely
lit up,
like boom. And you know, we walked into the art gallery and we're checking it out and stuff. And it was actually just really cool. And then Conrad like calls me over and is like, "Hey, so like, what are we doing here?" He explained to Mark why I'm here, because I don't quite know what the hell is going on here.
Man.
And this was before like any Tremors Fest stuff had started, so Conrad didn't have like context for anything. And sorry, it was just so cool. And so I'm explaining like the Tremors Fest thing and what I'm doing with Conrad, and Mark was like, "Well, I'd love to go see that. Can I? Is there still tickets? Can I still do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually, I have a whole bunch of tickets that I've already bought. So yes, let me know when you guys show up, and I'll get you guys.
I got you covered.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy." Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what? We're gonna go because you guys are clearly just having a fucking blast. Let me know when you're done, and we'll come back later and pick you up before bad stuff happens at 3 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And Conrad was even like, "You sure? Like you do that?" I'm like, fuck yeah, man! Like you're here.
This is your trip. It's your trip too.
Yeah, man. So we left and then basically went back to the hotel, grabbed a couple things, and then went over to the theater and started setting up. And
that was not my favorite part.
Why was it not your favorite part?
It was very chaotic. Lori and I talked about it last night. We'll get into that later. But she literally was like, the first day was stressful. She's like, I didn't really know what I was doing or why I was there. And I'm like, oh, well, that's a very interesting take on that. Because, you know, she was just like, well, what are we doing? Like, what's going on? You know?
Fair point.
Mm-hmm. Not in like a bad way. She was just confused, I think.
Yeah.
Not enough information.
I mean, admittedly, there's not. Like, even for the official schedule, you know, it's like 3 p.m. badge pickup, 5 p.m. art gallery and Tremors Lounge, 7 p.m. watch the movie. It's like, there's 2-hour chunks of time in between there that you're just kind of like, well, but what are we doing?
Right, and then you end up sitting around at that theater all day, which, don't get me wrong, it's down in a really cool spot in the Railroad District, and there's always, like, there's lots of shops and different things to go do, but it does get to be kind of like a long day.
Yeah. Being
in the same area.
Yeah, just sitting there.
Yeah.
And I actually forgot, before we go on, we did, Ben and I, we snuck over to the Sage Hotel for breakfast or whatever, because why not? It's just like right across the road. And then this funny thing happened where Robert Jane was there. And then I was like, oh, hey, Robert. Oh my God, so great to see you. And he instantly recognized me, and he was like, hey man, I listened to I watched your Finn interview, and you did a really good job with that. And I was like, oh, thanks, man. Like, hey, thanks, can't wait to see you at the rest of the fest. Have a good one. And we go back to our seats and sit down with Ben, and Ben was like, so who was that? Was that like a friend of yours or something?
Robert Jane is the guy that plays Melvin in the movie, the little kid.
The movies, like several movies and TV
show. Robert Jane is... He's pretty famous. He's a pretty famous actor.
I was just like, that's Robert Jane.
That still makes me laugh. I can't believe he said that.
It reminds me, it's in Arrested Development, like, lady, I'm Tom Jane.
But he has the same last name. Yeah, I'm Robert Jane.
Robert Jane.
Oh, that still makes me
it just was like, and Ben was like, oh.
Ben was immediately like,
shit. Oh, shit.
Wow.
Whoopsie.
No, that will make me laugh for the rest of the time.
That was fucking hilarious.
Very funny. Oh my God, that's so funny.
And so then, then that was the breakfast. And then, we went to set up and did that. And even from it was chaotic, but I think we all kind of
it's just because,
and
everyone's was anxious. I could feel there was a lot of anxiety in the room because I just wanted to make it all. Everyone wanted it to be a success, and so that was what you were feeling. Is everyone was just a little worried and anxious at it, but it all worked out fine.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. It was. I
heard from a lot of different people it was one of the best things they've done in a long time.
Yeah,
for a variety of different reasons.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. So anyway, the lounge was set up. There was display. Zach had a giant fucking Tremor standee that he got from Steve, and then a shrieker, and then Glenn had some stuff. And then obviously there was the art gallery area where Thomas put in his diorama, and Hunter had a giant graboid. There was a crocheted graboid, and Ben put in his Val and Earl picture. Mm-hmm. And then the comic book guys were selling all their stuff. And Zach was selling Frisbees and keychains from the movies.
Yeah, no, there was a lot there in terms of stuff to grab, and I don't know.
And then Mitsu and Larry and Adrian were all selling the shirts because Mitsu had actually printed the shirts. Like, he's a logo guy, so he had put the shirts together. And then they had actually designed a poster, like a specific TremorsFest poster that they were selling too, which was... Actually, it was a pretty cool poster. It's very Godzilla designed.
Yes.
Love that. And then I was on the other end. Actually, was off in the corner. I'll admit this, where I was definitely punted off into the corner here a little bit.
Yeah, because we were the last ones to get there, so we kind of had to make ourselves some room.
Yeah. And with the Seeking Perfection book, and I'll even pull them up. I got them here. The Seeking Perfection book, Jonathan Melville's, and then Octavio Lopez San Juan's Cazadores de Graboides, a Historia de las Sangatabelores. Which is, again,
I love that.
I helped write this one. I got to be in this one.
Which was very cool.
It was very cool.
Very, very cool.
You are the best, bud. And then, honestly, I just love this book for getting everything signed. Oh, that's what Zach wrote. Wow. Thank you for everything. I know I'm welcome. He asked me to look it up. And then Finn actually wrote in mine, how can I say what all you have done for me? Let's start with brought me back to life. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. XO, Finn, Rhonda.
Brought you back to life?
Yeah, that's what
she said?
brought me back to life. Yeah. And like I said, then
Excuse me while I throw up, because that's so adorable.
Oh, I know, right? And then I gave out a whole bunch of Talking Tremors t-shirts to everybody that I talked to previously. Actually, it was really just people that I knew listened to the show and have been supporting the show. And then I gave them all out to everybody that showed up in terms of the cast and crew.
Well, we're going to do a second printing.
Yes.
So if you want a shirt,
yes.
keep an
If you
eye
want
on
a shirt, let me know. Ask
keep an eye on this one.
Send me your address and your sizes, and
I'll help ship them too.
and
Like
some money, and
yeah.
we'll figure that out. They're pretty cool. I'll even point out that I did grab it from the front, so yeah, looks good. And then this was the one of the rare things I actually got signed by the cast and crew, because it's my shirt that I designed.
Your shirt you designed. How special for you to have all your favorite people sign it.
Everybody.
I think I signed a shirt at one point this weekend.
I think you probably signed Derek's shirt.
I did sign Derek's shirt. I love him. I love his whole family. We'll talk about them.
We'll talk about them. And gave those out. Had a whole bunch of stickers. I gave out 2 for the show, designed by Ben and myself.
I actually have a very impressive collection of stickers now.
Yeah. And then on the other end, the table next to me was Lori, and Lori had her whole setup with all of her production notes and Polaroids and photos and everything. And it was, I kept actually getting distracted from selling my books because I was trying to get people to focus on Lori over here, because she didn't think that she should be over there signing autographs.
She kept being like, why would anyone want to talk to me, or why would anyone want my autograph? And we're like, what? You are literally the reason that movie looks like it does. Like, you had a hand in everyone's costumes and what they were wearing. Everyone's going to want to talk to you. And they did.
They did.
And apparently this was the first time she can remember that she's ever signed an autograph for anybody.
Yeah. And there was a bunch of people. Like I said, by Sunday, I had really gotten everyone to notice she was over there. And because then when she wasn't there Saturday, I had a whole bunch of people coming up and asking me about her. And I was like, called her, texted her, was like, yo, girl, you gotta show up. Even Michael Gross on Saturday had found it and was like, because I was sitting there, was like, Levi, where did all this come from? I was like, oh, it's like Lori Hudson. She lives in the area. And he's like, she's coming back, right? And I'm like, let me text her and make sure she is here.
So did they get to connect on Sunday?
Yes.
Good.
Yes. So that was great. Like I said, Lori, when people were noticing, it was great to see them actually interact with Lori. Like, that was a really fucking awesome thing.
Yes.
And then we went to go watch a movie, which may or may not have been the whole reason that we showed up.
Yeah, that was fun.
Kind of.
We sat right behind Michael Gross and Finn Carter, though.
Yes, there were several times I was taking videos of their reactions, and then Michael Gross and Finn Carter were sitting next to each other, and they were definitely like, oh my God, can you believe this? And they would sit forward, all the way.
Studying the movie.
Oh my God.
Michael Gross would laugh at his own jokes. I don't know. The whole thing is just so enjoyable. And actually, Michael, I noticed he laughed at, because he said this later, he was laughing at Fred and all of his faces.
Oh yeah, Fred's faces.
All of his expressions.
His mugging in the background.
Yeah.
And yeah, then they were sharing popcorn together. Finn and Michael were sharing popcorn together.
And I talked to Helen about this, because I said one of my most enjoyable experiences from TremorsFest last year was watching a movie with the people who have actually been in it, watching it with them in the theater, because there is cheering, there is clapping, it's a fucking riot. It's so much fun, and if you've never watched a movie with someone in it, try, because it's really, really fun.
Yeah. They get more joy out of it than I think the rest of us do.
Well, then it's like, I sat directly behind Michael Gross. I could have reached out and touched him. So, watching him, I think I got a video. I got a video of, you broke the wrong goddamn rec room, you bastards. So I was focusing on him, because you can see him watching himself on the screen, But then everyone did the line. Like everyone in the theater said the line out loud, and I caught it on video. I'm gonna post it because it's so cool. Like
it was pretty awesome.
everyone yelled it and then went woo. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, so we watched the movie. We did a Q&A afterwards with Michael and Steve and Conrad and Finn.
Mm-hmm.
And then Steve dropped a big old bomb in like the best way possible that they have gotten the rights back to the original Tremors 1 screenplay.
Woo!
And Graboids and all those characters. They can't use 2 through 7 and Shriekers and Ass Blasters, but they're still working on some stuff and trying to negotiate. And then gave me one of my proudest moments in anything of saying, yeah, so this, like, Laura had contacted us, but we ignored him. But then Levi was like, hey, no, you need to, like, do this. And, like, Levi got us back in touch with each other, and Levi got us the rights back. And I'm like, yeah.
There was a little bit of name dropping.
I was
Can't
like,
confirm. I didn't
like,
get a
what?
video of it, but
I got a video
happen.
of it, and it was like, what? Hold on, what? Yeah.
Well, and then the article this morning, too.
Yes. Actually, it was written yesterday. The article on Monday got written. Because I posted the video on the Facebook page, and then Cody Haman had seen it, and he was like, can I write an article about it? I was like, oh, yeah, here, let me give you some more context, because there's more in other videos that I just hadn't posted yet. And I was just like, here's context, like, so that way you can figure it out. What else is happening here? So that was really awesome to know that finally worked.
Yeah. You've been working on that for a long time.
Yeah, like 3, almost 4 years. Just going to town.
That's literally how long that we've been involved in this.
Yep. It's been wild. So then we went to the bar afterwards, the Knuckles bar afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, Kaitlin got a great video of me because I came around the table and I was like, all right, Steve, let's talk. Let's do this. So my question was like, so did you ever think that when this like really crazy Tremors fan emailed you all those years ago, like being mad about this, that it would wind up here? And he was like, Levi, I did not. I should have trusted you.
Well, no, they didn't believe you at first. Because why would they, though?
Why would they? I get it.
We talked about it at the time because we were like, I mean, if this crazy person from the internet just comes in and says, oh, yeah, there's a lawyer that wants to get... I would have been wary, too. I'm like,
Like, what?
maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe let's not. Well, maybe let's not do that. But if you know Levi, all the intentions were good. You're just very passionate about what you're doing.
If I start something, I gotta finish it. If
you
I see
guys-
something wrong, I gotta fix it.
And you have to do it to the highest extent that it can be done.
Always. Every damn time.
Go big or go home, baby.
Every damn time. And then it was funny, then Kaitlin got this great video of me, so then Steve's on one side, and then Robert Jane's on the other side.
Oh, yeah, that was
like,
sweet.
And we're all like trying to come up with ideas for like the next movie.
Y'all were pitching each other all kinds of
pitching
crap, and
different
I'm like,
things to each other.
Jesus Christ.
So I was like, oh my God, I don't know how to, I might need to make that my cover photo now, just like.
It's a goodie.
Okay.
You're welcome. Those are probably the best pictures I've took all
What the
weekend.
fuck is happening? That was just a beautiful moment. And then was talking to Robert Jane for a while afterwards. Him and his wife Samantha were just amazing, and they were only going to be there that night, and they had to leave. And we were like, "Oh, hey, like we'll take you back to the hotel or whatever." And it was funny. This is just a funny story because we had me, Kaitlin, Thomas, Robert, Samantha, and then Mark needed a ride back to his, and we didn't have enough room. So Mark had to get in the trunk, and he even says, he's like, that's kind of one of my fondest memories now, is that riding in a trunk while Robert Jane films me in the trunk because we didn't have enough room for all of us to fit and get back there.
I mean, it's like a core memory for me.
And
now,
I was
too.
like, oh.
I've done plenty of that partying in like Makokata and college and stuff. So the person in the trunk wasn't what was new for me. It was the fact that Robert Jane was sitting right behind me, like filming all of it and having the time of his
like,
life.
what? Just
It was really, really fun. I had a lot of fun with that.
that was fucking wild. And then let Robert go. He really wants to be on the show too, so he gave me his phone number and such. Well, we'll get back together on that. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. And that was Saturday, and then that was Friday, and then we went to sleep. Can you believe that? We actually went to sleep.
Not for very long, though.
No. It felt like
Not very long.
not very long. I don't know. And woke up the next day, and then me, Kaitlin, Ben, and Thomas all snuck over to the Stage Hotel and had breakfast. Just a cute, interesting time.
It was okay.
I'm pretty sure the Stage breakfast is also what fucked us.
Yeah, none of
I would
us
just
felt
like to-
great, and
I think we got.
I never feel great, but everyone else is feeling like I normally feel, and I was like, ooh, that's not good.
Yep.
That's probably wrong.
And then we go back to that was breakfast. Then we start the day at 10:30 or whatever. Get in, and JD Walsh showed up, and I got to talk to JD Walsh, which is again one of the people that I was able to invite. And lo and behold, Christopher Silber showed up too. And I was like, and this was funny. We talked with Helen later, I think on Sunday night, and she was like, "Who is that handsome actor, man?" Like he came in, and I was like,
Helen.
who is this man? He's very good looking. And I was like, yeah, I wasn't,
You have to eat one of those now.
oh, what? Damn it. I do have to.
I'm catching on. See, I do get it.
She did.
Podcast land.
She got me. Oh, shit.
But
You got to talk while I eat it then.
But that was a very good Helen. That's exactly what she sounds like.
Thank you.
If she listens to this, she'll probably be really impressed.
She will. She'll love it. It'll be a good thing. Because he was. All right, I'd only seen pictures of him, like, on Twitter or whatever, and that was not what I was expecting. Like, that was a tall, handsome
I
silver
don't think
fox
I ever
of a
saw
man.
him because I don't know who you're talking about.
Oh, you guys were out.
Oh, out on our fun
Yes, out on your
adventures.
adventure. So Kate and Ben and Kaitlin all went downtown.
Yeah, it was it's called the Santa Fe Plaza. And it was basically just downtown what I assume is downtown Santa Fe, like the original. It has just blocks and blocks and blocks of boutiques and craft stores and candy shops, and like literally anything you could ever want is down there. It's amazing. And it's centered around this green, grassy area where there's like benches. It's like a park, but then they block off some of the streets, and then the Native Americans have all of their wares set out. Jewelry, like clay pots, like there was headbands. I bought an ear cuff, that one. There's Christmas ornaments, and they were just selling a bunch of stuff that they had handmade themselves. And that was the whole reason she wanted to go down there, was because she heard there was a lot of jewelry, rings, necklaces, bracelets, and then like the turquoise jewelry that you hear of. Oh my gosh, it went as far as you could see. Like there was probably 40 to 50 vendors, I feel like. It was just packed. We talked to this one guy. His wife has been in that same spot for, I think he said 34 years.
Damn.
Doing, Ben bought something from him, like a clay something.
Yeah.
But yeah, she claimed this spot however long ago, and they have been there every Saturday since for 34 years.
Hot damn.
Like, that's significant. Holy cow. It was a really cool time. And there was a basilica, which was very pretty to look at. Yeah, it was nice. We just kind of explored around. It was cool. And then Kate took us out to lunch, which was really fun too.
Well, that was the other thing of like, we wanted to like take our time, less Tremors Festy stuff this round.
Yeah, I needed a little bit of time away if I was going to keep doing it for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah.
And it was great. We had a lot of fun.
There's an old abandoned like steel mill or something over there. Oh, sorry. I got distracted by the scenery. We're in Pueblo, Colorado. But that, yeah, honestly, it sounded like you guys had a great time.
We did. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoy my ear cuff. I'm going to wear it all the time.
Yeah.
It's very special.
So what you missed then was there was a table read before we watched Tremors the series that had Conrad and JD Walsh and Finn and Michael and Heather. I can't remember her last name, and then Rick Vargas, which were actually two guys that Michael knew from the Santa Fe theater area to like fill in for parts and such.
Cool.
And they all did a really good job. And I do have to say, so that's when Colton asked one of his great questions. If you know Colton Hillier of Derek,
Shout out to Colton and Link,
and Colton and Link and the Hillier family.
My new nephews. I love them so much.
Love them. And Colton asked a great question. He's like, so if you could give a number on how good you did at your table read from 1 to 10, what would you rate yourself?
Love it. Love him.
And oh my God, everybody just like shit their pants. just like you.
Wait, well, hold on. What did everybody say? What was everyone's answer?
JD gave himself like actually it was funny because JD said, my son always tells me I'm not allowed to say 7. When this question comes up, not allowed to say 7. So I'm going to say 6. It was either 6 or 8. It was on the other side of it. And then Finn was like, I'm going to say 7. Like, just like, I don't care. Conrad was like, I feel like I gave myself an 8 out of 10 on that one there.
That guy.
And,
I love him so much.
I think Michael was definitely an 8 out of 10 too. Because everybody's critical, even though he sounded exactly like he used to.
No, I know. It's your Burt Gummer. Like,
and then
don't go back from that.
Heather gave herself an 8 out of 10, and then Rick actually, everybody on the table actually said, no, Rick, you get a 10 out of 10. Because he was doing Spanish too, as well. So he's like, no. You got a 10 out of 10 just because, you're coming in doing
Hell yeah.
that you're not normally used to.
I love that Colton asked that question. So did everybody laugh?
Yes. That was like the
Because
greatest.
I would have died laughing.
The greatest question
I
of
love
all
that
time.
little guy. He is so cool. We'll talk about that
Colton.
family more in a minute.
That family,
Because
yeah.
I want
I
to
love
devote
them.
a whole section for them.
And I didn't say it earlier when we were on Friday, was that I was really grateful that Derek and Thomas and Ben, because I was so busy doing other things, actually watched my table.
Yeah, we all
to sell
tried.
my books.
We all tried to help out a little bit as much as we could.
Yeah. And Derek wore the Talking Tremor shirt the whole weekend.
He did.
It was the only shirt he wore.
It.
Like
Sweet
it was the
Derek.
only shirt he wore the whole time.
Oh,
And I was just like, oh, I love you.
they're just such good people.
Hunter wore his every day too.
Really?
Yeah.
Aw.
It's like the only one he wore. But it was just like, oh, that's so sweet. Thank you guys.
Yeah, no, you've made some really cool friends through all this.
So there was that table read that happened with that was hilarious questions. And then we watched Tremors the series, obviously, with some Q&As afterwards with Michael, Steve, JD, and Christopher.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really interesting because Steve hadn't watched it in a long time, and he'd actually been rewatching the series. And he was like, it's not bad. I actually don't think this is bad. But then Michael came in and he's like, look, I hate to be the iconoclast, but I don't like this.
Oh, really?
Like, because the 2 episodes that were shown were Shrieking to Suroi and Night of the Shriekers, and they're all action. And Michael was like, they're just too action-y for me. And like, what I love about Tremors is like the people moments and the character moments, and like.
Well, there are other episodes that.
And that was where Steve said it, and I said it to him too, about like, oh no, there's like other ones that have that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just these were the ones that got
picked
by fans, like for that. And it's like, if it wouldn't have been the ones I'd shown for that same reason, you need to. Like, they're the 2 heaviest action episodes of the series, so it would have been nice to have one that was a little slower on that front, just to like balance it. Because Steve even mentioned A Little Paranoia Among Friends by Babs Grayhowski. It's one of his favorites.
Yeah.
And then Christopher talked about, I think it was his first like real writing job.
Really?
And like just like cutting his teeth, and he loved learning how to figure out what the tone was, and like it's very specific but fun and hard at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And JD said something at the table read, because the question was about like, how much do you bring to the table read? And JD was like, look, so here's my thing, is that most of the time I'm like guest star on stuff, and this is my experience as a guest star. You fucking bring it. They can just fire you.
Well, that, and they're like,
doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're kind of expecting a little bit more
Like,
out of you.
you better bring it, or you're gonna get
That's
fired.
pretty cool. I like that.
And I was like, damn, that's
No, he walked right up to me and was like, "Hi, I'm JD. Are you Levi's wife?" And I was like, I mean, I definitely know who you are, but how the hell do you know me? It was one of those like, whoa.
Did he say?
He knew you. And
Oh.
I think he'd seen us maybe talking or something, or Facebook. I don't know, but he definitely was like, you're married to Levi. And I
Oh,
was
wow.
like, yep, I sure am.
He was, you know, I really
He really was very, very kind and
Yes.
sweet and humble.
it's just a good dude.
He was just really happy to be there.
Yeah. And actually, JD and Christopher only stayed for like a little bit, and then they both bounced, which is fair. Like, it's like Lori, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here.
Yeah, no one's getting paid,
So,
and
like,
it's just
I'm
kind of
just
like
kinda-
on their own time
Yeah.
and dime. So whenever they want to go, it's
Christopher
fine.
was here because he had friends in the area. That's why he was like, oh, I can go to Santa Fe, and it's not like just for Tremors Fest, and I'll hang out. And he brought his son, too, and that was actually really cool. I think it was Colin or Dalton. I think it was Colin. And yeah, they had a good time signing autographs and answering questions. Honestly, Christopher and Steve, that was a great, when they first met each other, it was a great moment of like, Steve was like, oh my God, Chris, you're here. And they were just like right back in the writer's room again. Just like sharing stories, cutting the teeth.
How long has it been since they've seen each
Probably
other?
since Tremors the series.
Like more than
20 years.
Wow.
As long as Leela and Gladys hadn't seen each other, yeah? Strawberry Fields Cannabis.
Yeah, I know. I was looking at that too.
Wow. Cannabis Depot. Jesus Christ.
We are definitely in Colorado.
Wow. So that was dope. And then Kaitlin and Kate and Conrad and Ben all insisted that I'm supposed to go to dinner.
Tell them how much you ate that day, Levi.
I ate breakfast earlier that day.
You're starting to turn into me.
Although Friday, it was a lot to get Kaitlin to eat meat. Like for Kaitlin to get me to eat one burger.
It literally took like 45 minutes, and I don't even think you ate
Because
that
I was just so
entire
busy.
burger.
It was going back and forth, back and
You
forth,
needed
back and
to
forth.
stop and take a minute to eat.
I don't disagree. I just...
Well, past Levi was not listening, so I don't know.
I was listening. It was executing it. That was the problem.
Okay.
I'm just saying. And so we went out to dinner with Kate and Conrad at like 6:30, and that was just adorable. Conrad wanted a steak because, as he said, yeah, I've just had too much Mexican food. I can't do that anymore. So we went to what we thought was a steakhouse, but it was a New Mexican steakhouse.
Yeah.
It was not
It was.
a steakhouse.
No. It wasn't.
I think my steak sandwich had more steak in it than Conrad's ribeye did.
I know. I wasn't going to say that out loud, but I almost did at dinner, and I was like, you should just give some of your steak to Conrad.
That's why I asked him. I was like, "Oh, my steak sandwich is pretty good," and he's like, "This thing, the cow that ate this was eating nails." Like,
And it wasn't quiet either.
No.
Like, and we were right next to the we were the table
We're like, okay,
right next to
buddy,
the kitchen, and
We're sorry.
but like you can't tell him to be quiet because he's a 91-year-old man,
Yeah,
and it's just kind of whatever he's gonna say is what he's gonna say.
and it was a good dinner. Everybody's talking. Conrad recited this like Shakespearean monologue
It was cool.
for like
It was about hobos.
that. Well, because his like stage or his actor like presence name is Hobo Hamlet. Like that's his username, and he was like, "Do you know where I got that?" And then he went into this whole monologue, and it was just like, well, I wanted to film it, but I also didn't like. It was too in the moment on that.
Oh, I was transfixed. I didn't even think about recording him because I was like, I don't want to miss a minute of this.
No, it was so good. And then followed it up with then he was talking to an empty chair as if it was Harvey the Rabbit. Hilarious. And then so then on a funnier note too. So then Conrad actually gave me his hat. So this is Conrad's Louisville
Like the one off of his head.
off of his head, which I just was like, oh my, because he's like, I'll send you one of these. I was like, I'll take that one. That's fine.
I would love that one.
And he gave me this hat, and then I gave him my Tremors 1 Burt Gummer hat. And then Michael Gross signed his Tremors 1 Burt Gummer
He
hat.
wore it all weekend.
He did. He wore it like the rest of it all the way up to
He thought it was the
that
coolest
was
thing ever.
That's his new hat now. So that's where I'm wearing this in honor of Conrad. And we went to dinner that was fucking wild.
It's
and fun.
always fun with them.
And like Kaitlin said, then like Conrad was, well, do you think I should go to this other thing? Like, this other second movie. You
No.
know, like, I don't want to let anybody down. And it's like, Conrad, I mean, if you want to, but it's like 7:30, and you got to get up at like 4 o'clock. We're not going to watch the movie till 9. No, you don't have to. What? What are you doing? No, you go back to your hotel, and you've done great. Thank you so much. Oh, and that was why I said the hat. Oh, God, we are still driving.
Yep.
That's why I said the hat, was that I don't really like people signing things. I like to wait till they have a moment, and then I give them like 3 things to sign, like the T-shirt and my Seeking Perfection book.
Mm-hmm.
And Conrad was signing all my stuff, and he kept signing it to Kevin. And you know what? I didn't even notice it until like the end, and I was like looking, and I'm like, this is hilarious. I didn't want him to correct this. So like he finished up, and I was like, hey, Conrad, can I tell you something funny? My name is Levi.
Who the fuck is Kevin?
And he's like, what? No! Oh my God, I'm so stupid. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, no, it's kind of funny to me, Conrad, because Kevin, Levi, the names are similar, and like Kevin Bacon. I see what you're doing there. Like, that's not a big deal. And he's like, no, I gotta erase it, or I gotta cross it out. I'm like, no, leave it. Just maybe just write quotes to Kevin, quotes Levi, just to be funny. He's like, okay, so he did that, and so then the rest of the trip, he was just like, how you doing, Kevin? How you doing, Irvin? Yeah, I'm good, Albert. How are you, George? That's what I said to him. He's like, my middle name is actually George. And I'm like, well,
that's what we're calling you now.
Now you're George. Looking good, George. Love you, buddy. And we went back and dropped him off and everything, and went back and we watched Tremors 2. It was actually pretty neat. We didn't watch it at the brewery, but it was neat that the sound traveled everywhere, like downtown.
Like I was sitting at the theater outside, and I could hear them yelling about shriekers.
Yeah, you could hear
because it was literally just a block away.
You could hear the monsters.
You could hear and see what was going on.
It echoed.
Anybody walking by who didn't know what was going on was probably like, "What the fuck is happening?"
The fuck. Terrifying. Hold on. Here, just a little bit. Hopefully that makes a difference. And yeah, then we went into the theater. Actually, then it was Kaitlin and Ben and Thomas and Derek and I just all like sitting outside, just kind of just hanging out. Although I will say, as an aside, so then I was going to go over to the brewery to see who was there for stuff and such, because I wanted to give Steve something. I had something to give Steve, and I met Zach along the way, and we were just kind of like talking, and hey, we're having a good fest, everything's going well, so let's all work it out. And then Glenn walks over, while Zach and I are talking, and Glenn asks me, he's like, "So Levi, who do you got signed up for the costume contest tomorrow and everything?" And I just went, "What are you talking about? I don't have anybody." And I mean, I probably could have made a post about it in the group if I hadn't been blocked from it. And no joke, Zach was standing there, and he just did one of these he didn't say anything, but his face was just, God damn, that's a good point there, Levi. Because Glenn was almost like a little upset that I didn't have something prepared in terms of that. And I'm just like, how could I?
You want to know what, though, babe? You had a lot of people at the costume contest.
Yeah, we did.
A lot of people were there watching, and you had quite a few participants.
Yeah, I was going to say about as many as last year.
Yeah.
I would say about the same. And at least the costumes were different than last year. There wasn't 6 Burt Gummers and 1 Steve Wilson and a Black Hand Kelly. But it was funny, just Zach's face. Glenn, Levi's got a point. It's not a bad point to make right now if you're going to chastise them for not getting it done. And then, went back to the theater and just coming out for a little bit. Watched Tremors 2. It was a good time. In the theater, listening to, then Steve and Ron did a Q&A afterwards together. And I found out that all of what I thought were Jaws references in Tremors 1 and 2 were actual Jaws references.
They were complete accidents.
I'm like, wow. Well, look at that. Neato, Frito.
Does that make it better or worse?
I guess it makes it better, because that's them.
Because they weren't even trying.
Yeah, it just kind of worked out like that. And then because and I have to say, when Q&As are being asked, like at this kind of thing, I actually try not to ask any questions unless no questions are being asked, because I'll probably get another opportunity to ask questions like on the show and stuff. So I'm not into it. But there wasn't a lot of people in that theater, so I was able to ask 2 questions, and that was the first one. And the second one, and then this one was more me priming their brains for like, hey, maybe you should think about this. And it was like, so what do you miss most about making Tremors movies?
Mm-hmm.
And Ron and Steve both said just like the fun.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a fun time making them, and of course it was hard or whatever, but there wasn't any troubles like behind the scenes. I mean, besides what you're dealing with, like the effects work and stuff like that. That's your biggest trouble. But other than that, it was just a bunch of people having a good time making a weird ass monster movie.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was Tremors 2, and then we went back to the hotel, and we slept again. More sleeping
For not very much time, though.
For not very much time. Well, that was even less time, because her and I, Kaitlin and I, both woke up at 4:45, 5 o'clock in the morning to take Conrad and Kate to the airport.
Yeah, it was really early.
Yeah, it was early, and it was also really sad. That was the hardest
It
part.
was like taking your grandparents to the airport that you didn't have quite enough time with.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no, I'm gonna miss you.
And then it was funny, because then I had been trying to tell Conrad the whole weekend, and he knew this too initially, that like, well, who paid for our plane ticket then? And it was like, I did. Like, I did.
Yeah, he was trying to apply logic to that whole scenario.
Because he kept asking, like, who's putting this on? Like, what the hell is this? Because he runs the Louisville Film Festival, and so he was expecting a bit more organization in terms of that. And when I'm like, yeah, it's just kind of me and maybe some other people sort of like putting this whatever random together, and then it's all out of my pocket, paying for you, getting your hotel and all that. So
yeah.
And he finally was like, oh damn, like wow.
Yeah, it finally sunk in at 5 o'clock or whenever we were driving, and I don't know, he definitely like was impressed with you, but not impressed with
other
the
people
situation.
Yeah. But it was, like I said, it was bittersweet saying bye to them. And we'll probably go back to Louisville, as Conrad said, Louisville.
I feel like they would show us a hell of a fucking time.
Fuck yeah, they would.
It's like, well, that sounds great. Let's go.
And then went back and slept for maybe 3 hours-ish or so.
Yeah.
Got back up, said bye to Ben, because Ben was leaving that day, so we got to say bye to Ben. And then Thomas, Kaitlin, and I went over to kind of go finish out the rest of the day. Well, Kaitlin didn't actually.
I took my time.
You took your opportunity time. But Thomas and I went over. And,
I'm not like you. I can't just like jabber at people all the time. Like
I didn't. Like when I went over, it was more just like, I'm just gonna sit here.
I get to a certain point and I can't.
I'm gonna. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I've reached my limit, and I'm like, no, I can't.
That was me Sunday too. It was like, I got to go be there by like 10, so then I can be ready and then sell the books. And I just kind of sat there, just like, all right, I'm gonna chill. Although I did talk to Zach's friend Mike, and man, I felt he was telling me some sadness, and it was just like, I'm here for you, man. That's hardcore. That was really the grand extent of the talking that I did. And then Lori showed back up too. And then there was an Alec Gillis presentation that I needed to get ready for the costume contest, so I actually had Thomas like film it for me. So thank you, Thomas, wherever you are. Thomas is the real MVP of TremorsFest. Like,
yep.
Booyah.
And you're getting to why.
I'm getting there.
I know.
And
I'm not yawning because I'm bored. I'm yawning because I am so exhausted.
So tired.
Don't
So
take
tired.
me for over here being. It's just been a really long weekend, and now we're driving. And
I actually, because I needed to.
even you're yawning. Like you don't
passed it. You passed the yawn to me, so that's on you.
They are contagious.
I even saw a little bit of Alex's thing, and actually it was pretty good. I need to watch it now that Thomas has filmed it. I need to actually watch it. Because Alec was doing a really great job. Then I went and found the trophies and such, and Thomas put all these trophies together, which is just like a point of fact. That was all. It was his idea in the first place. Like I didn't even ask him. He was just like, I want to do this and put these trophies together. And I was like, well, fuck yeah, man. Kick ass. Got him. And so I had been doing like all day. Everybody was asking because it looked like I was dressed up like Rhonda LeBeck, Finn Carter's character from.
Which you did. You looked like.
I looked like her, which was the point.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was running a separate contest with the costume contest that was, if you can guess who I actually am, you got two free books. The 2 books I was selling, I'd buy them, and those are yours for freezies.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we go down for the costume contest to get set up. And like I said beforehand, I kept telling people, I gave them hints, nobody was getting it. So I emceeing the costume contest, and I'm telling everybody to come down, and it's like, all right, while we're waiting, all right, everybody, 2 free books if you can guess who I am. And to the point of, oh well, maybe I was being obscure. Lori Hudson and Ron Underwood knew immediately when I was like, oh, I'm not Rhonda. They were like, oh, then you can only be one other person, then can't you? Like immediately got it. And to the point where Lori, the night before, or whenever I'd first talked to her and I'd showed her the costume, she's like, you got to make sure you have orange goo and guts because you got to get that on there. And when we were at the restaurant with Kate and Conrad, Ben had got this fish and chips, but the tartar sauce was spicy tartar sauce, but it was orange. And so I ended up taking it home and like I made the graboid guts with the spicy tartar sauce. And I was like, yeah, 2 free books to whoever gets it. And everybody just kept, I don't know if they could hear each other, but everybody just kept guessing Rhonda and Finn over and over again. I was like, what? Although I did get a Jody Chang in there, which was
really?
Which was a good, like, okay, at least that's different. But they just kept doing those 2 over and over again. I'm like, no, it's not that.
It's not her.
My one hint was I dressed up like Steve Wilson last year, so if I was to keep that theme going, what would it be? And the theme was the behind the scenes people. I was actually dressed up as Ron Underwood, who dresses up, who stand in stunt doubles for Finn Carter's Rhonda LeBeck at the very end on the cliff when they shoot the final shot of them like looking over. It's Ron in a wig and Finn's outfit. And it was hilarious. And then, like I said, nobody guessed it. And then Ron like had it on his phone and pulled it up, and he was like, "Yeah, it's this."
I can't believe.
And he was trying. Everybody, we're in a theater, so he's like trying to show everybody, but it's like, "Oh yeah, no." Ron knew immediately. Like, no, it's this. And he had it saved in his phone too.
Yeah,
like apparently,
amazing.
I was like, "Oh my god." That was adorable. And then the costume contest went off. That was really good. We did popular vote. And Hunter won because Hunter's Black Hand Kelly. That was a great upgrade from last year.
Nice costume.
And even as a little biased, that was the one that I wanted to win because like
put a lot of effort.
He put a lot of effort into it. He definitely deserved that. Before I forgot to say that there was the art contest, and Thomas did win the art contest, like with his Shrieker diorama, which score.
We have very talented friends.
Yeah, that art diorama was amazing. It was the Shriekers from Tremors 2 on the oil barrels. And so Hunter won, and then Bella, who was dressed up like Val, got second place. She was awesome. And then Joanne, who was Berggummer, like ultimate Berggummer, like holy shit. She was third place, and then KO, who's Christy's son, was also dressed up like Berggummer. He got fourth place.
Boy, yeah, no, he was cute.
And then I got it set up here, and then my heart split into a billion pieces. All right, I'm unplugging. Oh no, I shouldn't unplug because there's the microphone.
Oh my god!
Oh no, never mind. All right, we're gonna put it there. I can reach back here. All right. Cool. So then we did all this, the costume contest, and Thomas handed out his trophies for each one, and I actually had Todd Spence, an artist, and I had gotten some prints of his art of Valid Earl and had everyone that was at the fest sign it. And they gave them out as a prize too for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're standing there, and I thought we were like all done and wrapping up and such, and I'm thanking people. And then Thomas, who was dressed as W.D. Twitchell, and I didn't say this all weekend, but Thomas had dressed up as W.D. Twitchell on Sunday. He had dressed up as Carmine, the road worker, on Saturday. And then on Friday, he had dressed up as his Berghammer. So he had 3 different costumes all day. And he would have really won if he had made the trophies. And that's next year I need to know to bring an extra trophy just for Thomas.
Well, or have someone else do the trophy so he can compete.
Yeah, well, he'll still probably do it because that's just Thomas. But just like, oh man, okay. Wow, you bastard. And then, like I said, we're wrapping up. I think we're all done or whatever. And Thomas was like, hey, no. Stop the clock here. And Thomas came out and was like, I need to thank Levi for all the work that they, like Thomas corrected pronouns in front of everybody, like they have done for all of you guys, whether or not you know it.
Mm-hmm.
And Levi has talked about on the show that there, if there ever was an award for like horror movies, you call it like a Tremmy, like the Tremmy Awards or Fan Film Award. And then Thomas presented me with the first ever Tremmy for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Horror Comedy Saga because of our fan film that we made, Tremors.
Our multiple fan films.
And and it's got Golden Bert and Golden Graboid and then Golden Shrieker and a Golden Ass Blaster and a Golden Dirt Dragon. And then now this is just the greatest thing that I've ever received in my whole life. And I never.
I knew about it.
Yep. And then Kaitlin showed me the messages. Apparently, they've been talking about this
since June.
A while.
He's been working on it since June. And I just thought that was the cutest little thing that he wanted to, show appreciation to you when you really deserve it.
And he did.
He sure did.
The fucker got me. So this is my I don't know what to do with this.
Put it up somewhere special.
Oh, I mean, it's going to be on my podcast station all the time, so I can always pull it out and be like, I won this.
Guys, look, I won an award.
I won an award I was the lead actress. Again, an honor I never thought I would actually win for anything. So I'll take it. Score. And yeah, my heart grew 1,000 times sizes that day. Now I got to put it back, but I really just don't want to because it was just so cool. Thomas, I love you. Thank you so much for this. And thank you to Kaitlin and Justin for coming up with the idea for a Tremmy.
I still don't remember that, but I believe you that we were talking about it.
It was you two laid the groundwork for the idea itself.
Well, Justin came to me with, I'm pretty sure if I remember this correctly, Justin came to me with the idea and was like, well, why don't we do this? I'm like, well, do it. It's just not a thing. It's not actually a thing. You'd have to make it a thing.
Well, let's make it a thing.
Cheyenne Mountain Shooting Complex? Okay, that can only be one thing.
That's where Jack O'Neill is?
Right? That's the only thing that can be. Why else would there be a shooting range up there? What the?
I mean, because it's an army base? I don't know. My best guess. I don't know.
I just can't with that. It kills me. Anyways, sorry.
No, you're fine. My heart's just so big.
I understand. It's okay, man.
So then we, go back to, and Michael Gross actually insists on taking a picture with all of us costume contest winners.
Ooh, I've got that picture.
Which is great because my boobs are huge in that picture. And I'm just like, that'll be awesome for everyone to deal with later on. Second. Really, my Rhonda Underwood was definitely a porn star. She would be she would star in Tremors. It doesn't even need a different name. It's just called Tremors, the porn parody. Don't even change the name.
Ugh.
With the giant underground penises. Come on.
Look, I know.
So then we do the after party, and then this is where I was like, oh my God. So when I had first told Zach about Lori and her whole collection of stuff, his only response, not that's cool, that's great, can't wait to meet her or anything, was, oh, is she interested in selling any of that stuff? And I was like, oh my God, no, look, we talked about taking it to the museum. Down boy, no, like, come on. This isn't yours to buy immediately. This is like, there's like more important things here than you getting a bigger collection. Like, this belongs to everybody. And lo and behold, I was watching him like talk to her, and then eventually I was asked to cut the cake. So then I got distracted, and I went over, and me, Thomas, and Amy, which again, thank you to Amy and Thomas for helping me cut that cake, because that was a huge pain in the ass, and all three of us kicked ass at actually accomplishing that goal. Like, thank you. Teamwork makes the dream work. And then Zach told me later that while we were cutting the cake, he cut Lori a check and bought all of her stuff or whatever. Oh, Cheyenne Mountain. I thought we were close to that.
Yeah, we're right near it.
Oh, Cheyenne Mountain was the only place that we actually stopped on the way back last year.
And it was because we wanted to find the Stargate, but we couldn't get anywhere fucking near it.
No.
Oh my God. It was nuts.
But worth it. That was still...
No, it was beautiful. And we took a lot of cool pictures.
Yeah, that was still hella cool.
Did not see Jack O'Neill or Teal.
Nope. No go Auld.
Nope.
Yet. Let me turn this so I can see you a little better. But other than that was just more like a sadness thing. And then Zach did come up and say he was going to scan and photocopy everything and send it to me.
You get to be, what did he say, the keeper of the electronic archive. And he gets the physical copies.
Fine. Well, again, the trust meter with him is at 35% currently, so we'll see. Okay? Zach, if you're listening, we'll see. Okay? Just we'll see. We're still blocked from the Facebook group, though, currently, so TikTok. Let's go.
Think that's ever
I don't think that'll ever happen either, too. I think Glenn's just so far deep in that. It doesn't
doesn't
matter if we buy God and everything. He doesn't care.
Matter.
Which we're going to get to here in a moment. Because let's admit it. If you watched the last TremorsFest recap video, there were some saucy secrets in there that nobody else knew. Because I've made it my job to see everything about Tremors, and I know everything about Tremors. And yeah, so anyway, the after party was good. It was so great. Just saying bye to everybody. I showed Michael Gross. I'm just gonna pull it out again because I want everyone to please go buy this comic. Please and thank you. It's right there. Please, I showed Michael Gross this comic. And he was like, I'd seen this being passed around or whatever. And he flipped through it all. Like, page after page.
What did he say about it?
He was just like, I'm just so impressed by this. And I was like, yeah. And I told him, I was like, yeah, it's one of those things. And it's not like, I don't know if me personally, it's what I would be doing. However, I really respect the artist here. He's like, yeah, no, they did a fantastic job creating all of this. And I'm like, I know, right? Holy shit. Like, seriously, I'm not going to open the pages on this because I'm not going to open the pages on this. But it was just awesome. And then I even asked Michael, I was like, hey, I'll give you a copy if you want. He's like, I'm not too sure about that. I was like, I know. We all just read it for the pictures. It's okay. But he thought it was really cool just in general. And then actually I did a blurb for Octavio's book with Michael because that was the one thing Octavio asked for me to do.
Yeah.
And I did sell all of John's books. I didn't sell all of Octavio's books, which did make me a little sad because Zach was selling $160 Frisbees that nobody had a problem buying. Or it was $70 Frisbees and $160 for the combo. But then my $50 book with actual information in it was just not.
Yeah, I know.
Ouch. I'll just admit that it hurt a little. That's fine. And it's not even like Zach's fault or anything like that. It's just more like, oh wow, okay. Here's the thing that's actually useful. That's not just a cool Frisbee that you're never going to use again. And okay, yeah, just buy that instead. That's fine. Cool. Moving on.
Yeah, let's talk about something else.
But
2 miles. Take the exit on the right.
Thank you.
Wow, now you're part of the journey now, everybody. We're going to take the exit on the right.
Nah, she's going to call it a slip road here in a minute.
Oh, yeah, slip road.
We made our navigation lady British, and apparently exits in Britain are called slip roads.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. But, you know, the after party was great. It was just so good seeing everybody. Actually, every time, there was a lot of people that bought Ben's comic, which I thought was awesome. Even the comic book guys, like the Tremors Anthology comic book guys, bought one. Which is like, cool, quid pro quo on that.
Yep.
Although, as a funny story, Conrad was saying that, like, Michael had brought him over a stack of, like, 50 comics assigned, and he was like, what the fuck is this? What the hell is going on here with this?
I think his exact words were, what the hell are they going to do with all of my signatures?
Yeah, like, what? Like, what? This is nuts. And Michael admittedly did come up to Conrad later and give him $40 for, like, hey, thank you. I could tell that might have been a little too much for you. And then it ended up being a funny story for Conrad because he was saying that back in the day, he had went out to lunch with Brent Maddock, and they went to a place that didn't accept cards, and he didn't know that at the time, so Brent had to pay $40 for lunch, and so Brent's always kind of like ribbed Conrad about it, so he made sure to give Steve
Take the exit on the right.
Oh my God. He made sure to give Steve the $40 to give to Brent, so that way he could give
In
it.
a quarter of a mile.
Oh my God.
Turn right.
I mean, we can turn her down.
We can. I don't know how, though. Oh, no. Oh, it's this one.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. Okay.
Turn right.
Navigation things. This is all part of the journey. I mean, this is just talking Tremors anyway. We don't edit things. Besides the two fuck-ups that happen here. That we will,
Real and raw.
I'll slice them together. We'll see what happens.
Hold on.
We're all gonna die.
No, I'm just tired of driving on the highway.
Okay.
Okay, so like we're here now. Where are we gonna go?
Oh, we're in Colorado. Oh, you should have kept going.
You told me to go to Colorado Springs.
Oh,
like that was the whole thing. I just put it into the GPS, and now we're here.
So I should put Denver in then. Hold on. 1 second. 1 second.
Christ.
No, I know. I realize. I understand what's happening here. Hold on. No. Just click. I don't.
This is great. This is great podcast material.
It kind of is.
No,
like,
no, it's not.
Yes, it is. It is for me. I find it funny. So I'm
Just
gonna
type in Denver. Like, what are you doing?
I'm just gonna type this because this will get us to Denver. Okay. Wow.
Turn left.
Girl.
Then, turn left.
Oh, we're rerouting.
That's not
We'll turn left here.
In 400 feet.
I can't.
Turn left.
There's way too many people.
Turn left.
Ugh.
Then, turn left.
This is not great podcast material, I don't think.
It's part of the show,
In
babe.
half a mile. Turn left.
Okay. Jesus.
Everybody's gonna be like, "What the fuck is going on here?" Okay, I'm gonna mute her for a minute. Can you watch?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Yeah. I'll watch too. So it's the second light.
Second light. Yeah, I got it.
We've got the map on, so that way you can see the lights, which is very helpful.
Yeah, because then you can gauge where you need to turn.
Like sometimes it's just like, oh, it's just a block that you got to turn. You're like, I don't know what the fuck that means. But she's muted now. So.
Sorry for that brief interruption.
What? Wow. So yeah, the after party was really good. Handing out cake and just talking to people, and then eventually, you got to start saying goodbye, and that's where Derek's family. I love them so much. Derek and Lizzie and Daniel and Destin, or Chance, but his real name is Destin, and Colton and Link.
They're adorable.
Just wonderful people, and I can't thank them. Derek was asking me all weekend how he
asked me too, do you need anything? I would get a hug, and then he would ask me, do you need anything? Oh.
And it was just...
He's so sweet.
Amazing,
they all are.
Amazing.
It's a very amazing little family we've met.
And then Victoria and Daniel and Coda. And actually Coda asked me to sign his book for him too.
Really?
Yep. Because Daniel convinced him to buy one.
Nice.
And it was like, yeah. It was funny because I actually already had signed all the books, but then when somebody asked me, then I went into where my signature was and personalized it for them.
Mm-hmm.
Although then when I was signing the book, that's when Zach was like, oh, hey, yeah, no, Lori's going to give me everything. And I'm like, I got really distracted here signing this book. That was great. Awesome. Cool.
But look, I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to say this out loud. Zach, if you're listening, I don't mean this in a bad way. But he's absolutely like that guy from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
He's a collector. That's his passion. That's what he likes to do. It brings him joy. We don't have to get it. I don't personally.
Oh, I mean, I do get it. Actually, I asked him last night why he does it.
There is an element of it that I get. I don't understand his obsession with it, but that's not my thing to...
He told me last night that it was because of his dad.
Really?
It was the movie that he watched most with his dad.
Oh.
And it's like he grew up loving it. And
so it's very special.
He said that he remembered the first time he saw Tremors 2 on TV, and he didn't realize it was a sequel. And it was the scene with...
That's what you did.
Yeah. No, he had watched Tremors 1.
Oh.
No, but he didn't realize that Tremors 2 was a sequel when he was watching it on TV.
Right.
And then, like, it's the scene where you first see the Shriekers, like Earl and Grady are, like, at the radio tower and then shoot one. And he's like, oh, where did these things come from? I thought, like, what was Tremors? And then looked it up on the TV guide, and it was Tremors 2. And he's like, and then I made my dad go out and immediately, like, rent us a copy so that way we could actually watch it. So that's his, like...
comfort movie.
Yeah, and that's what... It was really sweet, actually, listening. That was it.
That is a very sweet...
I was like, okay, I get that. That's very nice. I like that. Honestly, it's not that personal story. That's why I like it. It's just like, oh, okay. Like, I love hearing anyone's story about why they, like, fell in love with Tremors. You know, we all drive all the way to Santa Fe for it. So, like, what's
We're the only dummies that drive. Everyone else flies.
There's other people that drive. Zach drove. He drove from Texas. All right, I got to stop for a moment, too, and say, look at those mountains.
Yeah, no, this is a beautiful...
Actually, I wonder if I can flip
place.
it.
Colorado Springs.
Like, look at them mountains, everybody.
Just fucking gorgeous.
Yeah. Just amaze balls. Less mountains, more architecture. Oh! Listen, Ryan O'Connor. We gotta fight the graboids. The graboids are coming, O'Connor. And we're gonna go out there and we're gonna be good. It sounds more like Rocky than Dominic Toretto. Hey man, in the quarter mile, it doesn't matter if you win or if you lose. As long as the graboid doesn't eat you, you're good to go.
I can't with you.
I ate one.
Thank you.
What
are the other stipulations of that? What else do I need to watch out for?
If I sing a song,
which you haven't done yet, which
Nope.
is amazing.
If I talk about Kevin Bacon's pilot,
You have,
and that's usually
you did talk about that at one point because you said something about it was supposed to be filmed out here.
No, I said that to you, not on the episode.
Oh, okay.
Like we were talking as regular people, and I said that to you.
Okay.
That doesn't count.
Sorry, I don't.
I almost, you know what? I'll do this. I almost brought it up. Okay, because in the Q&A for the table read, somebody asked about the pilot and like whether or not, Burt Gummer would have been back, and Michael answered, and what it was that he was so heartbroken because he was like, yeah, no, why are they making this other one while we're making these movies? And the Universal Studios camp is so large that the movie division and the TV division are not communicating with each other, and they created this pilot without actually fucking talking to the people that had made the movies. And Michael felt really offended by oopsie, I just did that to my microphone. See, I hope that didn't kill anybody who's listening.
I've hit mine a couple times too. I'm sorry, I can't help it. Very animated when I talk.
We're learning. First time. And he just felt really sad that he thought that they didn't want him there. And that was actually one that I usually do this during Tremors Q&As where I have to like interject and be like,
but that's not right.
So hold on. I have to say something here. Why do I have another? I didn't eat it. This is for the pilot. This one's for the pilot.
Got it.
Damn it, so sour. Because the only reason I've really felt okay with interjecting was because Michael was so sad I could tell that it was something that hurt him.
And wait, can you hold on? Back up. What was he sad about?
That he didn't think that they wanted him in the TV show. That he thought that Kevin didn't want him around.
Oh, not in the TV show that exists, but the pilot.
The Kevin Bacon pilot.
That's not true, though, is it?
No, it's not. And that's where I was like, hey, I actually have to like stop the questions and interject that I've spoken to Andrew Miller and Vincenzo Natali, and I've also read what they have to say, that they did want you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's just all of the corporate shit that went into it,
Yeah.
but they were still going to try their hardest to get you and like Reba back specifically because they wanted you.
Did that make him less sad?
It was definitely, well, and then actually after the Q&A, I even told him, I was like, no, that's not, like, that's a thing. I understand. Like,
It's not me blowing smoke. That's
no,
literally
that's what they said. And I know that producers and the way that works, that like sometimes that doesn't come down the pipeline in terms of that, but that's what they wanted. Like, for sure. They did want you around. It was just going to be kind of a struggle to get there, but they were still going to try.
Yep.
So that was where I was going to talk about the pilot, but I was moving. I was trying not to.
No, I understand.
So I didn't have to eat one. Was really what I was trying not to do.
I got it.
So, damn it. And to Caitlin's point, the thing that we were talking about earlier, before we got in the car, was that one of the things I wanted to do, that Thomas and I wanted to go, because where they shot the Tremors pilot was only like 45 minutes south of Santa Fe. And we wanted to go down this weekend to go like check it out and actually see it and try to find it.
Who's got the time for that?
Oh, I know. Well, yeah, there was no downtime. I was supposed to do more podcast episodes and interviews this whole weekend, but there was no fucking time for it.
No, it was very busy.
Like, holy shit, no fucking time for it. And so anyway, yeah, so we had like the after party. It was a good time. Everybody got cake, and Ron gave me his phone number. So he'll be on the show too, hopefully soon, and all that. And then Finn was like, hey, so I got this hacienda, like Santa Fe spa hotel. You should come over and we'll go in the hot tub in the pool, and then I'll like take you to dinner. We're like, okay, cool. So we actually, Thomas and Mark were hanging out with us, and it was like, hey guys, you want to come over? We'll go hang out with Finn for a minute and like go from there.
Yeah.
And this is where I do have to like bring some other things into this. All right. So the whole weekend, I had actually been hearing like several complaints about the Stage Hotel as a hotel. And that's not me just saying like, because we weren't there and the Motel 6 was good. This was like Conrad, like I said, didn't have power in his room, had to get his room switched. Zach even told me that they got him the wrong room like 5 different times.
What?
Yeah.
5?
Like,
what? How?
Like 5 different times.
Jeez.
Like,
how did they do that wrong 5 times?
like insane. And then Finn said that they had dirty sheets. Her and Helen had dirty sheets when they went in, and then a clogged toilet, and they couldn't get any fresh towels. Like, no one would bring them any like new towels for anything.
Yeah.
And then Conrad and Kate said that the people up front were their attitude was shit. Was kind of just there.
Yeah,
the vibe I got from them.
Yeah.
I
didn't hear a lot of good things either.
No.
And I'm not one to like trash talk a business, but we're literally just repeating what we've heard.
This is what we heard or whatever.
Like, we didn't stay there.
And then actually the comic book guys, Rob Diotirli and Michael Haver, because we were all 4 of us were actually staying at the Motel 6. And I said something about that and, talking about the stage. And Rob was like, yeah, so did you know that if you took off the Tremors Fest discount, it was $100 less? Like, putting the Tremors Fest discount on there actually added it. Like, it took a room from $60 a night to $150, $175 a night. Like, so it wasn't really a discount.
It was a markup.
It was insane markup.
A deliberate markup.
And that was not one that I was like, oh wait, what? And it was like Rob was like, no, we didn't know either until we like kind of got here, and then we were looking it up and like, shit, man, the fuck is that? Why is that doing that? That makes no sense. And when we talked to Matthew, Lori's husband, he was like, yeah, no, weird that was like their fancy hotel because it's just a Days Inn with a coat of paint on it.
And when he said that, I was like, oh my God, because you pull in and it's got the top and the bottom, and that's exactly what it was.
It was honestly Motel 6 with like a bunch of fancy shit put on it.
Yeah.
To make it look rustic and cool and all that.
But not
actually on the inside. So that was interesting to find out. And there was even a rave when we dropped fucking Kate and Conrad off one night. I don't know how they slept to that thing.
That was the night that they had to get up early.
That was insane. That was loud. That was loud even across the campus. And so the Tremors Fest discount was a markup to finish that. And Glenn had told everybody that was the thing that he told all the Tremors fans to go do, and that's where I know Robert Jane was staying. Like I said, that's where we saw him at breakfast, and that's where Finn was staying, and Kate and Conrad. And I assume that's the ones I knew. I just assume everybody else. Like if JD was in town, that's probably where he was staying and such. And we go to the Hotel Santa Fe, and it's like Finn's room, and we're checking it out. And Mark had been there with us, and Glenn had invited Mark out to dinner. And when we had separated from Thomas and Mark or whatever, we went to Finn's room, and then I was going to go check out the pool and such. And as I'm like walking, I see Glenn. And I'm like, okay, no, my eyes, I'm very tired. Maybe my eyes are playing tricks on me. And I like walk, and I'm walking up, and like there's Glenn sitting in the lobby. And then I like look outside, and I see Mark, and I'm like, hey, Glenn, Mark's over there. Like, I know he's looking for you. And Glenn looked like a kid with his hand caught in the fucking cookie jar. Like, definitely like, oh, you weren't supposed to see me here.
You weren't supposed to be here.
Like, you weren't supposed to be here currently right now.
Which is a little classist, if we're going to talk about it.
Well,
like,
that was
rude. Like, mad rude.
Yeah, but it was definitely... So here's my thoughts, where it's like, okay, perhaps maybe Glenn was staying at the stage and then transferred.
We can
At the end, I don't know. Maybe, perhaps. However, noting how, you don't really do that if you have a hotel. Like, you're just going to stay there.
Like, if you like your hotel, you're not going to move.
Like, you're just going to stay there. Like, just why not?
Like,
it's so much. You're in another city.
Yeah.
Just fucking stay there.
And if you don't like it and you need a room, like if you need something different, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But
so then the other thing would be like, oh, so were you staying here the whole time? That I don't know. I'm not like that. It was just a perfect serendipitous moment that
because we've
had a few of those.
Well, we have, and we're going to talk about because this is the first. We were invited there. We did not have any control over like what time we were there. We didn't have any control over who we were there with because she was the one that invited us there.
The why we were there.
Yeah, it was all down to other people, and Levi just happens to be in a place where, oh my God, you literally get all the information.
There was.
New Mexico did that several times. It's magic.
Several times.
It's magic.
It was super fucking weird.
The ancestors are looking out for Kaitlin and Levi.
Mostly Levi. Super fucking weird. And so anyway, it was just one of those like, okay. But then when we go back and tell Finn, and Finn, can I just say that Finn and Conrad really seemed to have a general disdain for Glenn. Like they didn't.
It was more.
They didn't understand him.
They just didn't get it,
and they didn't know. Like they didn't seem to have a lot of nice to say.
I'm not trying to be mean, but they asked several times. Now, who is that?
They did. Who is that? Why is he doing this?
And we had to say it's Brent Maddox's brother, and then they're like, "Oh, right, the guy." And again, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just repeating what I was told.
Yeah. So
I do feel kind of mean. I'm not gonna lie, babe.
What?
I feel kind of mean, a little bit.
That's not being mean. We're repeating the things that other people said.
I know,
so
but
then
it's
to the
very
point where
publicly.
I went back to the room afterwards, I was like, "So guys, hey Finn, guess who I just saw?" And she's like, "Wait, what? Hold on. What is he doing here?" He told us all to go over there. what the hell is he doing here? And it's like a $200 and some a night hotel. Like, it was a very nice hotel.
Oh, it was great, but yeah, it was not the cheapest thing.
And then the conversation came like, well, is he being comped? Did somebody pay for his room on that? Like, what's going on there? And then, because that was actually a question that both Kate and Conrad had all weekend. Like, who's making the money on this? There clearly is a lot of money being made on this. Who's making that money?
Where's it all going?
Where's it going? And Conrad he runs the Louisville Film Festival. Like, he runs it. Even he was like, Levi, it's not your fault, because it's clear that you're giving me all the information that you have. It just doesn't add up. And it's like, I understand, man. So we'll all figure this all out together.
Mm-hmm.
And then anyway, to the good part, then we had dinner with Finn and Helen after hanging out in the pool and the jacuzzi and talking to people who were talking about the magic of Santa Fe and that serendipitous things happen in that such way. And when, like I said, we couldn't stop hanging out with Helen and Finn. It was so great. I love those two.
Yeah, no, they were a lot of fun.
Like, so much. And then eventually kind of said goodbye to them. And Finn was like, oh, well, I'll see you tomorrow morning. And I was like, no, you won't. It's fine. Helen's going to get you to the airport. That's what you need to do. So then that happened. That was our last Sunday. That was last Sunday. And actually at that time, Lori had asked, hey, I would love to take you and Kaitlin out to dinner tomorrow to thank you for everything. Would you be interested in that? I'm like, fuck yeah, I would.
Hell
fuck
yeah.
So then Monday happened, and we, like, the one thing that we felt we had missed out last year was Paik Allen and Daphne Backman of the Run for Your Life podcast. Paik was at TremorsFest last year, and he talked about going to Meow Wolf, and that it was just one of the coolest fucking things ever, and that, oh my god, gotta go check it out. Derek did too on Derek's episode. Like, apparently Derek met Glenn at Meow Wolf, like, while they were in there.
Really? Glenn went to Meow Wolf?
Yep. Yep. And that's where, they had met each other inside
That's
of there.
pretty funny.
And so we went, and it was pretty cool, honestly. Besides the people harassing me about putting my shoes on to the point that I lost my phone inside of the place.
Look, are we going to talk about this? Because I don't want to start yelling. Like, I'm already
I
very
was
mad
just
about it.
skimming it. But Meow Wolf itself was incredible.
The art installation and all of the effort and all the detail put into that
the
place.
mystery, the puzzle,
Fucking
the storyline inside,
wild.
that was awesome and
Holy
amazing.
shit. I have never seen anything more intricate and detailed. You could walk through that place 10 times and still not catch it.
No. It was called, the installation itself was called the House of Eternal Return. And the sort of storyline of it, and you had to piece it together.
I don't know if maybe don't spoil it.
Oh, no.
You want to let other people try and figure it out.
I guess not, yes.
Yeah, don't tell them. But there is like a plot or a story that you could follow to guide yourself through this art installation.
The one thing I'll say, because it was just like you walk into it and it's a house.
Like a
regular house.
Like a house you walk into with the TV on, there's a couch. It looks completely normal. But it's inside of a building.
Yeah. And you walk in, and we're like walking around, and we didn't, you're supposed to touch everything. Like, you're supposed to interact and touch everything. And we're walking around and doing all this. And this was the first indicator of like, oh, what the fuck? Was that I opened the fridge and it went somewhere else.
And it went into a secret passage into somewhere else in the house.
Into a TARDIS room.
You climbed into it and you just got lost.
And then from there, the rest was like
the refrigerator, the washing machine, the fireplace, all of it. Oh my god. You'll understand when you go through. I'm not going to say anymore.
Nuts. It was fucking nuts. But Meow Wolf, highly recommend, even if some of the staff were maybe a little...
Yeah, we're going to have to leave kind of a nasty review about the staff. Man.
The art installation itself.
The art installation was highly great. And obviously, if anybody else goes, you're not going to have the problem of, not wearing shoes. But yeah, no, we were harassed the minute we walked in. We were harassed throughout the entire installation to the point where when Levi was asked to put shoes on, you dropped your phone.
Yeah.
And then we kept going. And that is not a fucking place where you need to be
Nope.
going back
to lose
or
anything.
to lose anything because you are not going to find it.
Yeah.
Thank God someone picked it up and put it in the lost and found. But that is the absolute last place on this earth
to lose anything.
And especially your phone or your wallet or your keys. Because there's so much shit everywhere.
It's so much happening.
And it's dark.
Oh
and
my
it's,
God. Well, it's not. It's got lights and stuff, but
yeah,
it's all
but
the
it's
mood
like,
lighting
yeah,
and shit. So
like to try and find something in there would be almost impossible.
we even said too, we were like, "Oh my God, I'm glad we didn't take anything before we like walked in." Because it's one of the,
I was pretty sober. I'm not
like,
gonna
I
admit
was completely sober, and it's one of those like, this is a place not to take drugs. Like this is, you think like, yeah, go to Meow Wolf and take some shrooms. No, you wouldn't. You would still be in Meow Wolf till to fucking day.
You would
never
get lost
fucking,
and die.
You would
no
die.
Fucking
You
way.
would die in there. You would become a part of the art installation.
Which, might be kind of cool.
I
But
mean, if you're into that,
highly recommend going there sober.
yes.
Now, maybe if you figure out what the deal is and if you wanted to take something and go back a second time, that's on you. But I don't think I would ever do that.
No.
That place, it was a little bit stressful. It was very... It gave me a headache.
Overwhelming, overstimulating.
It definitely gave me a headache.
But still...
Not in a bad way, though. Like, that sounds mean. It's not that. It was the drama of the shoes thing. But
no, we had a headache before that.
No, we did because...
Oh, my God. I thought that was a gun. That's just it's a jack.
Okay.
But no, it was just a lot.
It was a lot of visual.
Because it was
and,
an
sensory.
interactive arts installation.
Yeah. Everything.
With a story behind it.
And it was so detailed and everywhere you looked, there was something else to look at. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
So fucking cool.
We're gonna take the boys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they would love it. So we did that, and then Lori, like we did that up until about dinner time, and then we actually the restaurant Lori picked was like within walking distance, so we just like walked over. Mm-hmm. And we had dinner with Lori and her husband Matt Halpert, and god damn, those two were fucking amazing people. That was another one where it was like, oh, I wish we could like hang out more. When we got done eating, they're like, well, you want us to give you a ride back to the hotel? I was like, yes, because I would like to spend more time talking to you. Because Matt used to be a gaffer and a boom mic operator on a lot of shows. Yeah. They actually met on a show where he bummed a smoke off of her on a break, and that was how they met. Just listening to them talk and everything, and not even just about movies, but their lives. And God, that was just so cool. But Matt had said something because we had to wait about half an hour, like for our food, like to sit down. And we're standing there, and Lori and Kaitlin are getting drinks, and Matt had said something about like, yeah, this whole area is just like serendipitous, man. Like there's a magic to it where like things happen. Because I told him about the Wade thing, and these things happen, and then you like flow into it when like you don't even know. Mm-hmm. And while we're standing there talking about that, I kid you not, Bill Bankowski, who owns the Violet Crown Theater, walks by, and I'm like, hey, that's Bill. Hey, Bill. And Bill like kind of like he had gotten through, and he was on the other side of the glass, and I was like, hey, you're Bill. You own the Violet Crown, right? And he's like, yeah, who are you? I was like, oh, I'm Levi. I helped organize TremorsFest. So then he came around and like started talking. He's like, oh, hey, so you've been working with Glenn and stuff or whatever? And I was like, yeah, we've been like organizing it here all behind the scenes and put things together. And he's like, yeah, it seemed like we had a really good turnout, really good time this year. And I got to check the receipts tomorrow on what we made and such, but it looks good. I'm glad that the brewery thing worked out, and like, and he asked me, oh, what did you think of it? I was like, oh, I thought it was pretty cool. It was cool to like walk around and hear the graboids and the shriekers, like what we said, like yelling and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he was even like, yeah, I'd love to do it again, and maybe I'll just bring my Blu-rays next time and we'll just play those or something. And just kind of like this serendipitous moment. He's like, even asked, he's like, hey, is Glenn in town? Because I know I got to talk to him tomorrow. Is he still around? And I'm like, maybe, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Honestly, the fact that you're asking me kind of makes me think that he is. So who knows? But it was just a moment of like, what the hell did I, like, as Kaitlin said, with the Glenn thing, we're here at somebody else's request, at somebody else's dime, on somebody else's time, and we're meeting a person that we shouldn't have been meeting.
We did not initiate that. We did not pick the restaurant. We just showed up. And then that guy just happens to be walking by while we're standing there waiting for our table. Like really?
What?
That's a pattern. My autistic brain is like, wait, what? There is some definite magic that goes on.
And then even on top of that, then while we're eating dinner with Lori, like I had said earlier, Zach had said he told Lori and I that he was going to send us, he was going to photocopy things and send Lori photocopies and then send me the digitals. And Zach literally called me while we were eating with Lori.
He did.
And I didn't know who it was. I don't like to pick up my phone while I'm eating dinner with people. But I just like felt that, and I got in the car and I was like, and Zach called me. Of course, while I'm with Lori. There's another one. What the fuck is going on here? And it actually was a good call. It was him being like updating me about like he had just gotten the standee done as he told Steve he would do, and he's gonna start on the photocopying and such. And he didn't want me to worry and all that. And I'm like, okay. Actually, for me, it was like, okay, you calling me actually does worry me. I wasn't worried. Like, I was going to let it be. But now you're calling me, and I'm like, okay, why? I don't get this. My trust is like, this is me. It's not your fault, Zach. This is just my trust issue. But then him and I ended up having a good, like, hour-long conversation about different Tremors things and life, the universe, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was good. And like I said, then, Lori and Matt had dropped us off, and it was, again, super hard saying goodbye and loving them. And it was, I can't, those two were just so goddamn cool.
Yeah.
And thank you, Mike Malone, wherever you're out there, for hooking me up with them. Like
They're
that was
cool. They're really, really cool.
Because then, Lori actually, after we got back, she's like, we love you two so much. And I was like, oh, we love you too. And you know what? Like, we need more time to hang out with you. Like, just anytime. That would be amazing. And Lori even said, she's like, when you get home, make sure you send me a picture of your cows.
Yeah, she likes cows.
So that was my, like, I got to make sure I do that. And so then I got back to the hotel, and shit, Kaitlin packed up, and I think I passed out.
You did. I took a shower and packed all my things up, so I didn't have to do it this morning.
Yeah, and then got up this morning, and then I packed and got everything in the car. And surprisingly, we did leave with more stuff, but we managed to get it all back in here. We got Cool Bear and Rabby back here, too, and our cool Santa Fe hats from Justin and Lana, and my Tremmy and everything else. And I didn't show it off, but my mom's pants, I got even more signatures for my pants.
Stop telling me what to do, Car.
I love these so much. By the way, you didn't get your pants signed.
Babe, look, I was thinking about this. I don't go crazy for the autograph thing like everybody else does.
I get it.
Like, it doesn't really matter to me. Like, I don't know. I don't really.
That's what I said. There's only 3 things I like to get autographed. And it was only 2 because I had the pants. But actually, I guess it was 1 for me with just the book.
Mm-hmm.
And then the pants and my T-shirt are like, oh no, these are things that nobody else has. They deserve to be like historicalized with everything else. Yeah. Like, other than that, it was like, I can't get you to sign it.
I guess I don't go crazy for autographs like everyone else does.
I don't either. That's my I get it. Like,
and I'm in the minority on that. I know, and I just don't. I don't know. I don't like waiting in line. I don't know.
No,
there's no way I could do that.
For me, I don't like asking them to do something
that too
that they're doing for free. I told Michael that because it was like, oh, I had to get Patrick's book signed because he wanted that or whatever, and then asking him to do the blurb for Octavio, and it's just like, and then asking them to all the people to sign the costume contest prize. It was just like, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for your time. I don't want to take any more than I need to. Mm-hmm. It's just hard. I don't know. I'm not, and that's not me detracting from people that do want it signed. It's just not something that I'm personally into.
Me neither. That's not. I never have been.
Like, so that's why I like the book. Like, the book is cool because this is about Tremors. Like, it's not just a fucking DVD. This is all about Tremors. So of course. And it's writing, too, so it adds the extra. Of course, you put more writing in a book that has writing in it. But honestly, just cool. And I was just thinking about it with your pants. So next year, though, I will take your pants for you and make sure they do get signed.
Perfect.
But yeah, now it's Tuesday and we're like heading home and we're doing all this. And I will say that I did get, one of the edits that will be in this that happened was Zach texted me something very alarming that I didn't quite read. That's actually Zach's fault.
Is that what that text was about?
It was. And we'll see what that is later. I didn't read the whole thing, but I got snippets of it that Steve sent him an email. And I'm like, okay.
About what?
Well, I've got to read it. And then we'll figure out what that was.
Okay.
And then also Conrad called and he was like, hey, can you give me the email of that Glenn guy? Because I kind of want to tell him that you did a really good job this weekend and sort of make him feel bad. that was legitimately like, he's like, I kind of want to do a little extra work there for you. Because he kept saying, like, him and Finn both couldn't stop thanking me and Kaitlin like all weekend in terms of that. So it
was very humbling.
And then I told him about the hotel room thing, and he was like, you gotta be shitting me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, Kaitlin and I were both talking that we thought that might piss you off a little bit, but I also gotta be honest and tell you that that's what we saw and made happen. Because Conrad kept asking too. He's like, where's the money going on this? Conrad and Finn both were just like, where's the money? Where's the money going on this? And it's like, to George R. R. Martin, I think. Or maybe the theater, although Bill didn't seem like he was too concerned about the money. Like, in talking to him.
That's why it was so confusing.
That was he was kind of like, I guess I'll check the receipts. And he didn't even know how much ticket costs.
No, he really didn't.
He was like, what did we pay? What was the ticket price? Oh, it's $40. Oh, okay, cool. And how many people did we have? I was like 200. Oh, nice. That's good. So he didn't even really know.
Right.
Which was the serendipity of like, that was a perfect moment to talk to that person and add another piece to the puzzle that I'm still don't have solved here.
Yeah.
Now we're heading back home. I'm tired.
I'm bathed in light. Look at me.
I know you are. I was gonna try to
I'm fine with that. I'm not gonna lie. I look like shit, so I'm fine with that.
If you put this down,
I've tried. It doesn't work.
it might work now. No, I meant to the side.
Yeah, I know. I've been trying it. It doesn't really do much.
No, it doesn't. Well, Caitlin's just golden in general. Oh, there it is.
I don't think you're gonna like the lighting on this video.
No, it's been good. It was only just that last 5 minutes that got a little weird. I've been watching it. It's fine. Everybody knows we're driving and shit.
God, I need to get over.
Oh God! All right, Caitlin's driving. Look at them! Look at them little baby mountains. This is a very interactive podcast, actually. I've been loving this. Like, people are actually like journeying with us. That's where it said like, no, you get to hear the GPS and our failures and such, and that's life. I don't know. That's
It's reality.
That's us. I don't know. I'm not.
That is us. That's definitely how we.
That's how we roll.
How we travel.
That's how we roll. We roll like this. That's how we roll. Oh, like this. Yeah. And yeah, so heading back, and I guess I've only got 3 last points. So we're into the now and moving forward. So what are your thoughts? Kaitlin?
Shit. I knew you were going to ask me this. I have kind of a warped view on it because you tell me everything that you know, so I'm not uninformed. And it's hard for me to understand what you're talking about sometimes. I'm glad I have faces to put with names now.
Like Thomas and Ben and Derek.
Yes. And then I think the highlight for me was reconnecting with all of the cool people that we met last year and making new friends. I made a lot of new friends.
Yeah. I would also say that the highlight for me was everything outside of TremorsFest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The people.
Yeah. It was, like I said, Ben and Thomas and Derek and Kate, Conrad, and Finn, and Helen. Like, that was the real,
The
like...
people we met and established bonds with, yes, that's what I'm going to do.
Even though Steve literally name-dropped me and thanking me for getting the rights back, that was cool, but the actual hanging out with people and, developing that was really... That was awesome. I don't know.
It was awesome.
That was one of the coolest things. And as we... are you done? I don't mean to...
No, yeah, no.
I'm trying to do the wrap-up here.
Yeah,
so then as we move on to next year... what's the thing you want to, like, what's one thing about Tremors Fest you would change? And if you're listening in the comments and you went to Tremors Fest, please comment that too. What's one thing about Tremors Fest that you would change for next year?
Maybe actually have a trivia contest? Wasn't Colton mad about that?
That was something. So I was cutting the cake and Colton comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, Levi, I have a question for you. So when is the trivia contest going to happen?" And I was like, "Oh, buddy, great question. I don't know. There's no that you've reached the scope of my limited knowledge in terms of that one." And then Colton actually came up to me later and he's like, "Yeah, so apparently the trivia contest was just the little pieces of paper they gave us." And I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, no,
okay.
That's definitely...
That was a good Colton.
That was a good Colton, yeah. Shout out to Colton.
Whoop.
I love that little dude.
He's so good. I saw sour every time. That was funny. Like, oh my god! But like an actual trivia contest.
I mean, like if you put it on the schedule, then you need to do it.
Yeah.
Or
like George R. R. Martin, if he's supposed to be there, actually shows up.
Like that 7-year-old kid was expecting a trivia contest, and then he got.
I was too.
Well, and then he got kind of let down. Like that's not good.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna put it on your schedule, do it, or just don't advertise it.
And the funny part was that if somebody actually delegated that one to me,
you would have been great at it.
I would have been great
Because you're the one that knows all the weird trivia.
And it's one of those things that like either I am hosting the trivia contest or I'm winning the trivia contest.
Yeah, or you are the trivia.
Or I am the trivia contest. So it's just like, let's just...
You would have to host it.
Levi, just host it. It's fine. And I'd be like, I would have easily done it.
I just can't believe they didn't ask you. Like, that's...
Well, that's part of the other thing. That goes back to the beginning with the months leading up to this and being ghosted by Zach, and then Glenn only talking to me and only unblocking me from Facebook a week before Tremors Fest because I bought plane tickets for Conrad. Okay, that's the only reason that conversation fucking happened. Like, that is the truth of it. Yeah, there's a million things I haven't done, so just you wait. Sorry, I don't know I went to that one. That doesn't count as a song.
Kind of does, but okay. It's okay. You don't have to do this one if you don't want to.
I'll eat half of one.
Okay.
But yeah, of course, that would have helped. The thing I would change for next year would be focus less on the actors and focus more on people like Lori, like the behind the scenes people like Mike and Christopher, because they're going to bring a lot more to the table than an actor will in terms of like the Q&As. If you want the Q&As to be filled out like that.
Yeah, because the actors don't remember.
Yeah, they don't. They're so busy trying to act.
Yeah, like that's not something that they're going to like input.
But that was where, and Lori, didn't you say, I think you said it at the beginning of this, that Lori had never gotten the autograph before.
Yeah, she told me that she was the head costume designer on Tremors, and she has never signed an autograph until this weekend, is what she told me.
And that was part of why she wanted to thank us by taking us out to dinner, was because she never felt so loved before, for like fandom and stuff like that. And just, she couldn't stop thanking me in her text and in person for like having a really good energy and passion and trying.
Just being kind.
Yes, it's hard for me to say that, so thank you. But like, just doing the right thing is actually where I was going with that. Because I did. As I was sitting at my table, I was like, everybody, there's this Lori person over here. Go talk to her.
Yeah.
And that was I don't know if I said it, but that was one of the funniest things where, like, Michael, I did say that, where Michael was reading through his, like, where did this come from? Mm-hmm. And then Steve had it too. Steve said something where he's like, he's been wondering for years where they filmed the car sinking, and he had no idea. And then Lori had a map. to the location.
Yeah.
Like literally in her stuff. And he was like, that's a 30-year-old mystery that I've been, boom, solved because
now
of
he
Lori.
knows.
And then Ron and Lori, actually, well, because Ron worked with her the most, man, those two talked for like a good 45 minutes.
Mhm.
Like because there was like, I think during the docs and bloopers thing, and like they just talked. And it was like, oh, this is so
That's cool.
good to see them. Same thing with Ron and Conrad, just like talking, like I said, that was my favorite thing about Tremors Fest last year was seeing everybody connect with each other. I guess fans get a bunch out of it, but seeing them all like love each other, phenomenal.
Mhm.
So that would be what I do. And so then, interesting note. So again, I've said this before that I've been talking to the people at the Lone Pine Museum, and I'd love to take Tremors out there for a 35th anniversary. I know everyone thinks that it's a little tiny town. How are we going to make that work? We'll make it work. All right. There's a way. We'll find a way. They already did it for the 30th anniversary with 150 people. I think you keep it 150 people, you'll be just fine.
Yeah, I think so.
Say you can do it all. Just do it all again. Although I did have someone come up to me, Kirsty and her son actually entered the costume contest because I gave Kirsty one of my Burt Gummer hats because she looked like Burt Gummer, and then her kid KO, who came in third, was also dressed up as Burt Gummer, and she came up to me. She's like, "Here's my name and my phone number. I would love to talk to you sometime about like organizing this in Chicago. Like I live in Chicago, and I do this as a regular thing. I would love to work with you, Levi." Like she came up to me, not to Zach or Glenn. She came up to me. It was like, "I would love to work with you on organizing one of these somewhere else." And I was like, sweet. Actually, she had it in a napkin, but I was like, "Oh, here's my notebook. Actually, would you like write it down in here?" And she did. And so it was like, cool. Maybe that's another one. Like let's try it out.
Chicago could be cool.
I'm into it. And it's nothing against the Violet Crown. Like you said, I have to say Santa Fe and the Violet Crown,
All great.
absolutely amazing place. It's just one of those like, eventually you're gonna need a different space. You're gonna outgrow it, so you gotta always be looking at the future. You gotta do things differently, and that's not to say we don't come back to the Crown in a couple of years. Like that's like I want to just see Lori again, Lori and fucking Matt again,
Yeah,
like
no
that,
doubt.
and everybody else in Santa Fe, and just being in Santa Fe in general is just amazing. And so yeah, like I said, hopefully Lone Pine. I know Robert Jane said he wanted to do it in LA. So maybe Chicago. Conrad kept saying Louisville.
I mean,
Why don't we take Tremors Fest to Louisville? I'm like,
he's set up for it.
like, let's fucking go, man. Like, let's fucking do this. Click, click, boom, bitch. So yeah, you're not gonna believe it, folks, but we actually got through this whole list. Like, yeah. I probably missed some things as I was going through that I'll talk about later, if I fucking remember it. But it was really just wanting to hit the highlights and the loves and the everything else. And again, thank you, Adrian, for saying that you wanted another one of these. So we did another one.
Because we weren't going to do it.
No, I didn't think about that. But it was an interesting thing to do it. Oh, Bobby Joe just texted. Her and Josh are watching Tremors right now. I just got a text
Yay,
from Bobby Joe.
Bobby Joe.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean.
Oh, I bet Staley would love that.
I bet he would love that so much. So, yeah, honestly, like I said, I was expecting more of a disaster. It was less of a disaster. Although I think there's a lot of people that would say that it was less of a disaster because of my doing everything. That's where I think people like Thomas.
I had so many people tell me that over the weekend that it exhausted me.
Like what?
That you were doing too much. Like, remember that conversation where I got kind of mad and was like, like you're doing too much. You need to slow down. Like people are worried about you. So there was a little bit of that, but it kind of paid off in the end. And those people were just coming from a place of like, why are you doing all this for these shitty people? But that's not how you think of it. I get it.
I don't look at it as doing it for people like Glenn. I look at it as doing it for all the fans and
I know.
Steve and Ron, Michael and Lori and
I know.
Finn. And
You're just a much stronger person than I would be.
I know.
You're way less petty.
I mean, yes.
That's all I'm saying is like you are a much better person than me.
there's just ways to do that. And I must say, so then actually I went up to Glenn afterwards to all of this, everything that I've said. One of the final things that I did that was actually Tremors Fest related outside of the theater was that I walked up to Glenn and I was like, hey, had a great weekend with you. Let's just bury this. And like shook his hand. It was like, I've never had a problem with you. I don't know what your problem with me was. I don't care.
Let's just move on.
Let's just move on, because I think, and the only way this whole series needs us all to be working together. This is way too small for us to be fighting or feuding. I'm done. You done? Cool. Moving on. And I even got a picture with him too afterwards, just to like really settle at home. So yeah, now you can't say at any point that I'm like, I all I did was regale history, and now we're up to the point where like, okay, you know what? Maybe it's done. Much like Universal and Stampede, maybe it went bad, but hey, now we're done. Now the rights are back. Let's just work together and come to the table and make things happen.
Yes.
That's all it should be. And so yeah, like I said, I'm really happy and excited and pumped, or just to get home. And honestly, as much as I love this video, I need to take more videos of the mountains while we're driving here. I'm glad I got a few of them, just because it's so cool.
The mountains are beautiful.
They are totally beautiful. I want to. Kaitlin had caught the sundown the other day that I had missed, so I've been watching. I want to catch the sundown on the mountain over there. Yeah, so I will end. I want to thank. I wrote a whole list of thank yous to people here that I wanted to thank for Scherzies. These are just people. I'm going to be missing names because not everybody wore the name tags that I was asking them to wear. So I tried my best here. So thanks to Jim and Nick, and I know Nick came up to Ben afterwards and was like, "Hey, I bought your comic. That was awesome. That was amazing. Oh my god, that was fucking awesome." And then Daniel and Coda and Victoria, the TikTok Graboid and his mom and his brother, like, love you guys so much. And then David and Jesse, who actually bought all three of my things, including the comic book.
Wow.
Which was really like David Wilday and then Jesse Miller, I think.
Cool.
And yeah, seemed to love it. Sandra, and then David and Cheryl, I have to give a specific shout out to, because after the costume contest, we came out and Cheryl asked what my pronouns were, like specifically.
That's nice.
And then we were having a conversation about her children being gay and bi, and a couple are trans and such, and just trying to be accepting of people existing.
It's nice. I didn't know she did that.
And it was really sweet. And that's where I said I wish I got a picture with those two, because that was such a nice.
That's very kind.
That was really sweet. And then they got a picture with Thomas as Debbie.
They love that guy. Loved Twitchell.
He loved Twitchell.
Yeah.
And then Hunter and Mason, which is Hunter Lurvy, and then he brought his grandpa and his grandma. I didn't get his grandma's name, so that's my bad. But he brought his grandpa and his grandma, which was adorable. And then, so then the whole Hillier family, Derek and Daniel and Lizzie and Destin, Link and Colton. I love you guys. You better be at every Tremors Fest ever.
And we're going to try and bring our boys next year.
Yeah.
So there will be plenty of people. There will be other kids to play with.
It won't be so bad.
Oh my God. They're going to get into so much trouble.
You'll all have a fucking ball.
There's 3 of them, Colton, and they're right around your age. I think you're really going to like them, and they love Tremors just like you do.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try and make that happen next year for you, buddy. Okay?
Totally. Hopefully in the July or August.
Even Link too. Like he'll have fun because
yeah.
he'll be older and. Yeah.
He's getting there.
You want to know what? Side note, I had a great conversation with Link one day.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was eating his cake. And he kept trying to give me some, and I was like, I'm okay, thank you. And the more sugar he ate, he was telling me about something, and I was like, I don't know what you're saying, buddy. But it was very cute. I really enjoy it.
Yes.
That family quite a bit.
That was adorable.
They've been close to our number 1 supporters. So.
And then Sarah and Wyatt, and I can't remember the name of the daughter, but we had a couple conversations. I met them
with the beautiful blonde hair.
Yes. And they were actually there last year. Sarah and Wyatt were there last year, and they brought.
The girl didn't want to go up next to the shrieker because she was. It reminded me of that scene in the movie where the little girl was like
Mindy's
this. She did not want to go near her because she thought it was going to like pop open and scare her. And I told her, I was like, it does open. It's just not turned on right now.
Yeah. And then Mitsu, Larry, and Adrian, who, like I said, are the guys that remastered the episodes for the series to watch and then made the t-shirts, of which I did bring one up here just because I needed to get this swapped out for a gray one too so I can get it actually signed. But thank you, Mitsu and Larry. Larry was filming a shit ton. Can't wait to see what he got. And then Adrian, thank you so much. I actually met Adrian like a couple weeks back because I have the widescreens for Tremors the series, and he like flipped it fucking lit because he didn't know there was widescreens for Tremors the series. And so now we're gonna try to remaster those in general, just for everybody to actually use and have a good version of that.
So everyone can see it.
Yeah. So thank you to you guys, and then thank you to Amy and Amy and Damien. Damien last year was the first person that actually told me he listened to my show. And because they listened to it on the way down. And then Amy was the one that had bought, who had given me tickets for Zoran and Megan last year too. And then Amy helped out with the cake, and Amy is just a great, she's always back there like behind the scenes trying to help. And so
I didn't meet her, but she sounds cool.
Amy and Damien, I love you guys so much. Thank you for all of your help. And then Kirsty and KO, like I said, Kirsty, I would love to work on that Tremors Fest in Chicago. And KO, nice costume. Can't wait to see what you come up with next year. And then Joanne, and she had a husband too. And goddamn, can't remember what the hell his name was, but Joanne was the ultimate Burt Gummer.
Oh, with that big fucking Nerf gun.
Yeah, ultimate Burt Gummer.
Get that.
But we had talked several times. They took in some stickers for the show. They were going to listen.
Yay!
And then Bella, who dressed up as Val.
Oh, the one with the red
contest.
shirt, yeah.
And I couldn't remember the name of the guy. He told me to. It was Kyle or something. I'm really sorry if I don't get your names right. I'm so sorry.
Put them in the comments so that everyone knows who you are. If we're talking about you and we don't get your name right, or you want to, just put it in the comments so everyone can see.
Please, and thank you. And then Nathan was actually a lighting guy, not just on Tremors, but he was
that older one guy,
who put on a wig to be like, this is me in the 80s. This is my costume. And then Crystal, who was the lady that was working most of the time, like handing out tickets. She was telling me that like she grew up with Tremors because of her mom.
Oh yeah.
And she was amazing. So thank you to Crystal too. Then my big two here, which I gotta thank Ben and Thomas for everything that they did.
They were very, very helpful.
Yes, like I said, if you haven't, buy this comic from Ben Sword. And then I got to get it out one more time. Because Thomas made all of the trophies for the costume contest. Like, seriously.
He 3D prints all this stuff.
And thank you for my first ever Tremmy, Thomas. I don't know how to... I just want to hold it here in front of this forever.
It does look pretty good on camera.
It does. I'm going to have to take a picture of it and send this to him. And be like, hey, check out the new episode. And thank you to Helen and Kate, specifically, who I consider the spouses of Finn and Conrad, for keeping your spouses in line. Thank you for being the Kaitlins of the trip and keeping those two together.
Tremors' wives got to stick together.
And I didn't say it, but Michelle, Kaitlin, and I, man, we bonded.
Michelle Wilson.
At a certain point, like all of us talking about just the bullshit of everything that was happening, and it was great for Michelle to actually call out, like, Levi, you're doing so much right now, and I'm like, oh,
thanks. You.
Cool. City of Lone Tree.
Wow, close.
Not even Lone Tree. Holy shit.
Maybe we could do it here. And just
maybe we'll do it in Lone Tree. But thank you guys. Thank you to the Tremors' wives, I guess is the big one on that. And then thank you to Matt and Lori for taking us out to dinner.
Yes, thank you for dinner. That was very sweet.
And dinner and conversation. The conversation.
Dinner, drinks, and conversation. It was a lovely evening.
Again, we could have hung out for another 45 and a half hours.
For sure.
That would have been awesome. And then, of course, thank you to Conrad Bachman for deciding to go because I paid for your plane ticket.
And I just want to say, I hope Conrad is listening to this. If you are, I meant to tell you this before you left, but I never knew my Grandpa Lutt. My dad's dad, he passed away before, I was 6 months old when he passed, so I never actually knew him. I've only ever heard stories about him and like who he was. I think that you are just like him. And that brings me a lot of joy because I don't have any other grandparents. So guess what? You're stuck with me now. You're my grandpa now. And
Whoops.
I'm going to be checking in on you and Kate periodically for the time being. I think we both will. Because you're both very special to us now.
Yeah. You're Tremor's grandpa.
I just had to say that. Like, I think that you are like who my grandpa would have been to me. So, and I just didn't know I needed that in my life, and now I have it, and I'm all the better for it.
Thank you, Tremor's grandpa. I appreciate you.
I do too.
And of course, thank you to Finn. Hold on, I'm worried how much battery I got left. Okay, 37%.
Wow, that's impressive.
We're still good. And thank you to Finn,
Yes.
who I would consider the MVP of all of the, like, for her coming out again and doing this. And
After a really long time of not.
I mean, as they both said, they had the greatest damn weekend in a long time. But it was still a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And I just really appreciate
But it's because
doing it.
someone decided to give a crap and is just being a good human being. And look at what can happen. You can bring people out of retirement. You can, what did she say? Resurrect you back to life.
There was resurrected, and then there was a back to life on separate,
back to life.
separate things.
Levi brought Finn Carter back to life. Those are her words, not ours. No, I consider her to be a family member. I've only known her for like a month.
I won't be surprised if she just moved to Iowa all of a sudden.
She's definitely going to come visit, for sure.
Cool. Okay. They're probably going to ask you for like my PayPal account at one point too.
100%.
Like I'm still waiting for that.
I'm waiting because I got Finn. I got some phone numbers too this week. Don't go there.
I think he did.
I got it. She could absolutely text me and be like, "Hey, how do I send Levi some money?"
Yeah.
And I'm not going to turn her down. I'm not going to turn anybody down because
Derek had to give you the 100 because I wouldn't take it.
I know. And he literally was like, "Why wouldn't Levi take this?" And I'm like, "Because it's Levi." And then Derek was like, "Right, that makes sense. Here you go." Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you.
So again, thank you to you guys. And then, of course, I got to thank Michael Gross and Ron Underwood and Steve Wilson and JD Walsh and Christopher Silber. And I think that was it in terms of
Anybody else you missed?
that showed up. Thank you guys for taking the time out.
Robert
Jane.
Jane.
That was the other one. Thank you.
Yeah.
I knew it was. Thank you for taking the time out to actually come down and do this on your dime.
Yeah.
I know you had fun last year, but to do it twice in a row is...
You all are lovely people.
Yeah.
And y'all are like, celebrities.
Yes.
People say, don't meet celebrities. They're not that great. That's not true
I
about...
meet you guys every time.
That's not true about any of y'all.
No, you're all amazing. And to the point, so we said last year on this last video that it was like, mom and dad being divorced or whatever.
But that's because that's how it was.
It was. This year, at least, like, mom and dad had joint custody.
Sure.
And we're at least all hanging
And it was
out.
still kind of weird, but like...
It was a little better.
No, like joint custody, like getting the rights back.
That's what I mean. Like, they had joint custody. So
things are a little less
that at
awkward.
least changed in terms of that. There was they went to court, and now they get to have joint custody of the kids. I just had to say that.
It's a good analogy, and
it was your analogy. That's why I wanted to reuse it.
That's what it felt like. Like, and I'm not even a child of divorce. Like, I literally, that's how it felt.
When you said it, I was like, that's how I feel. Wow.
The first 2 days were with one set of parents, and the last day was with the other guy.
This one, we got to hang out with mom all weekend. It was good.
Wait, is Michelle mom?
No, I meant Stampede's mom.
Oh.
Because they took all the time to birth the child or whatever.
Right.
And then dad is the one that just like used the jizz.
Okay. Used the jizz.
I'm just saying,
Okay,
that was my metaphor. I
That
didn't say it was a good metaphor.
cancels out the really good metaphor that you did before.
Okay. That was my bad. Okay. I fucked up. So anyway, that's like, I'm pretty sure that was all my good thinking.
Did you get all the people in that you wanted?
Everybody that I could think of. I wrote them all down. I know, like I said, I know I missed people. If I missed you and we talked, please comment and let me
Yes, please say something. And we're not trying to leave anybody out. We're just so tired and overwhelmed.
And I will even end with some before I end my final thanks. Is that thank you to Glenn and Zach for the things that you did do. Oh, I didn't thank the comic book guys. That was the other one. Thank you to Mike, Rob, and Jake for showing up too and selling your comics. That definitely made an interesting impact on things. And yeah, like I said, thank you to Glenn and Zach for the work that you did do.
Yep. There's no doubt that work was put in to make it happen, and we truly appreciate it.
Yeah. And yeah, thank you to the theater. Thank you to Bill and Victoria. No thanks to George R. R. Martin, though. I will say that.
Look, that Dragon Train pissed me off. And I'm not even 100% sure that it's his train, but I'm like, you know what? That was probably fucking his train. And it's like,
but
don't put a
He's the only person I wouldn't thank because he actually didn't show up or do anything. So,
insert eye roll here.
And you know what? Out of all the things in the world, I think George R. R. Martin can take a little criticism from this podcast.
He's never going to hear it or even care. Even if he does, he's not going to.
He's too busy worrying what Ryan Conlon is doing to destroy House of the Dragon currently.
I did see that, and I was going to click on it, but I was like,
I don't know if I can. It's funny because it's him just bitching.
I don't know if I can hate him anymore.
It's whatever. I don't know.
But here's the fucked up thing, podcast family. I was going to get a picture with him just because it's George R. R. Martin. He can be a fucking asshat. I can get a picture with him and be like, hey guys, guess what I did? I'm not above it.
Wow.
He did write Game of Thrones, and you can think whatever you want about that. It's George R. R. Martin. You show someone a picture and they're like, holy shit. So. It's a complicated relationship George and I have.
Yeah.
We'll work it out. He just needs to write his damn book. I just want to know how it ends. That's all. All he has to do is finish it. It's not really asking a lot out of a writer who started a series on his own accord. We should do an entire podcast where all I do is rant about George R. R. Martin. I could do it for a fucking hour.
That would be so off of Talking Tremors. It just doesn't work for the format, technically. I'm sorry.
But I could talk about Tremors and the fact that he wants to be involved and make his own
that's
Tremors
what Bill
movie.
said. Bill said that he wanted to
Can we please make sure that doesn't happen? Because I don't want that. I don't think that's going to help. I don't think that's going to be a good thing.
I don't know.
I don't want.
I don't have say over everything, man.
In it, and I don't think that that's great. Tremors doesn't need any incest in it. Let's just say it out loud right now.
I don't need extra. I don't need.
No, it's going to become really weird, and it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same. Think about it. Steve Wilson and George R. R. Martin. Compare those two as writers.
Not worth it.
There's no way.
Not worth it.
There's no way. Please don't. If anyone knows George on a personal level, can you please pass this on and just be as kind as possible? Be like, please don't. You can do whatever the fuck else you want.
You can give it some money, but don't have any input.
Please don't ruin Tremors.
Just leave it alone, man.
Game of Thrones. Please don't. Please don't. I can't. And I'm being very nice, and I'm saying the word please. That's where I'm at.
I wasn't expecting that.
I'm sorry.
No.
You put a quarter in me.
That's fair. I totally get it.
I just do not care for the way that he treats his fans.
I know.
But yet he owes everything to them. Sorry.
It's true.
Okay, anyway, I'm done.
Unlike George R. R. Martin, we are going to finish this podcast. You set me up with it earlier.
That is solid, and I love you, and I'm glad that I'm
so as always, I like to thank my family, because Pappy has been at the house with the boys feeding our cats.
There will be some funny videos posted. Just wait.
Lots of boys mooning and Pappy coming up.
My name's Pappy, so yeah, look forward to that.
We'll find out what that is, but thank you.
Oh, I've got 8 or 9 videos.
And thank you to my mom and my sister Lacey and Shonday, Chantrell, Samaje, Shamar, Sahil, and Sion. And I'll even thank Ashley, even though that horrible thing happened. She's still a part of the family. And I didn't mention it, but Ashley had an hour and a half long conversation with Vin Carter at a park.
That they both really kind of needed.
That they both really needed.
And it was lovely.
And I'm hoping that
maybe that can turn
something
that
sticks there.
Horrible situation around.
Something sticks there. But again, still thank you.
Think good thoughts.
And thank you to Wade, wherever you're at.
Shout out to Wade.
Shout out Wade Gibson.
You should send him a link to this.
I will.
Okay.
Just to be like, this is what we did, Wade. And yeah, do you have anyone you want to thank?
No. Not really. All the people who were very kind to me. all my new friends, Ben, Thomas, Derek, Colton, Link. I had a blast with those 2 kids. I don't know. Yeah, everyone was just very kind
Yeah.
for the most part.
So cool. Thank you to them people.
Yeah, thank you for being cool.
And then, as I always do, I'd like to thank Kaitlin Marie Ludbersloff
That's me.
for deciding to travel all the way down to Santa Fe again.
You know, it's touch and go for a second. I wasn't going to come, but here I am.
Ta-da! Worth it. Was it worth it?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you again for being here.
You're welcome.
And since you're, the guest on the show, or my co-host,
Mhm.
you should end it. So you end it with your last words.
What do you mean?
Like, the guest ends with, like, the last words. You have the last word.
Last words. Those are my last words. Is that acceptable? I didn't know I was supposed to be doing this. You didn't tell me about this. Also, can we talk about the traffic? I don't remember there being so much traffic on the way here. There's a lot more traffic today than there was coming the other way. That's my last words, I guess.